Teddy will be playing the role of Kekino.
Will he? Will Kekino be angry today and go? "Arrgh"?
Oh!
He's protecting Cal.
He's running off.
I'm so sorry. The cats are fighting.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
as they are.
Pause your fight.
I mean,
Sylvia's
it's just
over here like
recap.
an only child.
He was waiting for you.
Okay.
That's very nice. Thank you.
Well, the cats were fighting. Okay. Last time on Well Dressed Bones, aka our Dungeons and Dragons game, the necromancers arrived to town. Metal came back from her decompression shopping trip after learning horrible revelations about her past, and happened to arrive at about the same time as a party of necromancers. Abatinitus, as well as a bunch of backup and help. Sister Tail, a friend and mother-in-law to Cal, brother Umbra, a dorky little guy who really likes Cal, and brother Vane and sister Oss, Muscle. It is strongly implied, although nobody has verbalized this connection, that Tinnitus was bringing backup and packing heat unless he needed, in case he needed to capture or kill Cal as a heretic for trying to hold back heretical items. Instead, he was sorely disappointed to find that the ink is running from the room after the cats. Is They were somewhat disappointed to find that although the item was mostly destroyed, the sanctuary would be holding on to the um, uh, remains so that Tinnitus cannot have them. As all this was happening, there was a lot of tension between Tone and Tinnitus, a lot of back and forth, but Sister Tail got some nice time with Cal and had a lovely tea time, as well as meeting Kekino and Swifty, and then uh, Cal and everyone went to go visit Pagan and her people, in which Jamal, who has been tagging along, uh, incredibly beefed a dexterity roll and ended up accidentally giving Abbot Pagan a lot of information that Cal has not perused and approved for public consumption. And afterwards, they had to also take another straggler, Sister Beliala, who Cal sort of connected with, to go arrange for the event tomorrow. Arrange a room for the meeting, hotels for the different parties, and in the meantime, there was feeling of being watched of being followed, of a necromancer specifically skulking through the shadows. Um, but as Fish tried to chase down the person watching the party, they did not find a necromancer. Instead, they found Sarah Longfisher, who reported that someone had dug up the body of the Wendigo that the group defeated a few weeks ago, and had been transporting it along with a group of others on a sort of meandering chase that has ended up here. And so the party is not entirely sure that, uh, but it seems like perhaps the necromancer that is stalking them is the same one that did that. Um, and Cal suspects that that necromancer is. Um, Cleric Etika Angelus, the one who was bothering the clan a while ago, and who roughly fits Cal's physical description, um, and also is of a height with Sister Beliella. After returning back to the sanctuary, Fish had a very nice connection with their dad, and on a nat 20 is going to passively absorb the Maori language, at least some of it, while they sleep every once in a while. And that brings us to now, the morning of the event. And you are all sleeping soundly when the knocking comes. Sister? Sister! It's Tail, wake up!
One moment. And yeah, because it's Tail. She actually should go. Is there anyone? Is there anybody with you?
Yes.
Damn it! Grabs the veil. Then, in nightgown, opens the door.
It is probably about 5 or 6 in the morning, like not horrendously early, but very early. And uh, you see Sister Tail, who is standing next to essentially just a little page, one of the administrative staff who clearly brought her to your door. And you can see that she is kind of disheveled and stressed. And she says, Sister, we need you to come immediately. There's been an attack, and uh, Tinnitus is calling for you.
All right. Can I? One of my companions is next door. Can I wake her?
She considers for just like a split second, and then she says, "The abbot asked for you specifically, but I do think there may be a benefit in your companions coming as well."
All right. Yeah. She's going to knock on Metal's door, knowing that she's probably already awake, or at least like in bed, doing the equivalent of her checking her emails. Knocks on the door and says potential emergency, and then she'll go back for the now she's gonna go back for the sending stone to call Fish, but I don't know if that'll work if Fish gave Sarah their sending stone. But maybe it'll hit up Isles, so she'll unknowingly she'll
Isles
pick up
like-
the connected sending stone.
She was like, I just left.
What the fuck do you want?
Metal is definitely up and at him, so she's
All right.
like getting ready, and she's like, "Oh, okay, I'll be right there." And then she's out there with you.
What happens when I call the sending stone?
When you call the sending stone, there is a little bit of a pause. Nothing. And then you hear Sarah go, "Who's that?"
Oh.
What?
Oh,
Sorry.
I was
Fish gave you their sendings? Okay. Sorry, not you. Go back to sleep.
I just, I, I,
Goodbye. And then she'll like pull on like a better robe to go over the nightgown, shove on some easy put on boots, goes back to Tail, and she's like, they didn't pick up. Do I have time to get them from their... Are they actually... No, that being said, did they willingly sleep in their room by themselves for last night, Ink?
Yes.
Okay. Then she'll be like, do I have time to get them from their room, or do we need to leave?
do it. Do so quickly. If you can arrange your teleporter, that would also make things quicker.
Cal's gonna nod at Metal, who I think is probably like, I'm good. She says, do you want to go for Fish with the teleporter?
I'll get Kessel.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Off to Fish's room.
All right. How do we find Fish?
I have a real quick question first, which is, what health are they at?
At this point in time, you would have gotten to. Let's see. You were at 12. Your maximum is, I think, 23. Is that correct?
Oh, back to full, I mean.
You wouldn't be back to full, but you would be like a good chunk of the way there. You're probably at like, I'd say probably 19.
Okay, I'll just set it to 19. I think the max is 24, yes. Fish is asleep. They sleep mostly not wearing clothes.
Yes, he
So-
definitely did not open the door.
No. So if, it's... Whoa. There's some sort of emergency with the necromancer, something involving tinnitus. Can you accompany Metal and I? Okay. Thank you. Give me a second. I'm not wearing clothes. Ugh. Gets out of bed, dresses. A t-shirt underneath the jacket.
Mhm.
There you go.
All right. Very quick then. As Metal runs and gets Kessel, you were of course told where his room is. Kessel absolutely like has an apartment in like Paris that he teleports back to every day, or he would, except for this time where he's on call, he has the same like shitty little dorm room that you guys have. So you find him and wake him up, and he is very unhappy about it, but he is quick to move.
That's right. Because he had a wine night last night.
He had a wine afternoon.
Well, still.
He may
It
have
was 3
also had a wine
hours.
night afterwards.
Hey,
Reconvene the squad.
Reconvene the squad. You
Fish is wearing Sinner's aviators like they're hungover.
yeah. It is like sunrise.
Kekano is here. He's fine.
Kekano is here. Kekano is very quick to wake up always, and he is a little concerned, but he definitely shook off sleep a lot faster than Fish did. As you teleport out, you find yourself suddenly in front of the office of Abbot Pagan and her people, and off to the side, the chapel where they have put up the group from Cal's temple, and Sister Tail runs towards the chapel. Pushing in on the door, you see Cleric Umbra jump out of the way, who's clearly some sort of guard, and as Tail steps aside, Cal can take in the scene. First thing, because the room is so dark this early in the morning, is the smell. Blood. And as your eyes adjust to the flickering candles, you see Sister Oss. Her shoulder down into her chest has been sliced open, blood decorating some of the old pews that have been pushed to the side, the cot that she is sleeping in, and up on the wall. She does still live, but breathes very shallowly and seems to be sort of comatose. As you rush in, Abbot Tinnitus, in sort of a tone you've never heard him use before, turns around and says, "Sister, I understand you have healing magic. Please."
Yes. And does she need to spare the dying first, or straight to cure wounds?
Probably straight to cure wounds.
Okay.
I know I got my new magic spells, but we haven't printed out the spell card for that yet. This cure wounds is still better for this, right?
Let me double check.
Because I got it. Oh, Aura of Vitality. What's my new one?
Yeah, no, cure wounds is still better for that.
Cool.
Yeah,
Let
Aura
me
of
get my
Vitality is like long term everybody
Yes. Got it.
Like- area.
And that's plus my. She's gonna get 11 hit points.
11 hit points. Okay. You see her breathe in deeply and then start to settle. The wound starts to stitch closed, and but not quite all the way. Blood still flows, just much slower, and Brother Vane leans over her and presses a pad to her shoulder. You seem to have saved her, but she is still not conscious, and there is little to be done for her now in this moment, except to have her rest. As soon as she is stabilized, Tinnitus turns to you and says, "It was that bitch."
Cool.
With me.
All
And
right.
he starts striding out, expecting you to follow as he heads across to Pagan's building. He does not seem to have noticed that Fish and Metal are here at this moment.
Yeah, Cal's gonna look at Tail and see what she's kind of indicating.
Give me an insight check, actually.
Also, sorry, squad, that I brought you over for necromancer drama, and the one, well, she doesn't know Fish can do it yet, but it's like the thing only I can do.
I mean, I will say that Tail saw some value in also bringing them here.
22.
Got
Support.
support.
Yeah.
22, you said?
Yes. I know my
Um,
god, Mom.
Yes, Tail is carrying herself very rigidly in a way that you recognize. Tail is not someone that has a lot of anxiety, especially for a necromancer. She's got to be very brave to go out and constantly meet new people, make deals, things like that. What you are seeing is an anxiety and a restlessness that is probably masking some fear. And you see that she is very concerned about kind of what has happened and your presence, but also seems to be concerned about where this is headed.
Yeah.
Um, and
Can Fish real quick do an insight on Oz?
oh, sure, yeah. Before you leave, Oz is unconscious, but
Yes, but with Kekano under their arm, sort of like pointing him the way that you'd point a speeding camera. Like, how's she doing?
I'd say that's an insight or a medicine.
Oh, I'll still do insight. 17.
17.
Mm-hmm.
All right, with a 17, you see her expression is in some ways frozen in the last expression she showed before she was attacked and injured. And you see surprise and puzzlement. And I think that leads you to conclude that she was taken by surprise in some way. She was ambushed.
I would like to do a really quick clock before we go. Is healing magic so uncommon that no one at Pagan's temple would have it? Or was I specifically called because I was a healer and I was someone Tinnitus trusted?
I'd say give me an insight check, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's that one. I thought I was doing something, but that's a total of 7, so it's not awful.
Okay. With a total of 7, you're not entirely sure. Tinnitus isn't necessarily one to play political games, but it's possible this is part of some larger political game. It's possible that you're here because you may be taking the blame for this attack. You may have healed her only to then get blamed now that your magic has washed away the magic of whatever the attack was. It's also possible that there is something as both a healer and as a member of the temple who is trusted and has some authority with the sanctuary that this may be involved. I think a 7 is also enough, as low as it is with a natural 1, to be like, part of my current job is investigating murders and assaults.
Yeah.
Like,
All right.
maybe this is related to like more my sanctuary role than my my temple role. And with that, I need to step away for a split second. Be right back.
This is still canon. Fish steps up, like, beside Cal, just to go, it was someone she knew, and then retreats. It's just so that she has that info.
Cal probably looks. I imagine that she's not wearing gloves, so she has like bloodied hands. That she's very like, I don't want to touch my anything with this, and she's just like, all right.
As as this sort of procession marches towards Pagan's office, the front door slams open, and Pagan sees Tinnitus approaching and says, "Where is she?"
Cal is like steps out to the steps so she's visible while still being like, please don't fucking, please don't let that pronoun be referring to me.
You see Tinnitus sort of slow a minute, a look of confusion but also calculation on his face, and he, in kind of a calmer voice than he had a moment ago, he is just like, "I'm sure I don't know who you're referring to. My cleric is gone, and I know that you were involved." "You mean Beliala? Sister Beliala is missing." "Yes, as you well know." "That is very interesting, considering that my cleric was just attacked and gravely wounded." "Sister Denier,
Yes.
you spent some time with Sister Beliala yesterday.
Yes.
Do you think it is possible that she is some way involved in this attack?"
I spoke to her very little. We only spoke about reading. I cannot speak for any of her combat abilities the way her brothers and sisters would be able to.
You see that, in this moment, Pagan could be helpful and is choosing not to be. She's just sort of keeping quiet so as not to potentially implicate Beliala. Tinnitus, without looking at you, says, "If you had to surmise, based on your limited knowledge of her."
Based on extremely limited knowledge, she is shy, quiet, smart, dislikes being in the presence of others, especially those outside of her temple. Showed no real strong emotions. That was it. That's all I got. She barely spoke in the time I spent with her. Yeah, she only spoke when the two of us were alone. All we spoke about were books.
Vish, sort of, catches Cal's attention to be like, "I'm about to talk, so prepare yourself emotionally."
Cal's just like, oh my god. Okay.
And they say, the big one was taken by surprise by someone she knew. The little one is quiet and can sneak up on you. If she attacked, the big one probably wouldn't have noticed. That's my 2 cents.
Give me an investigation check to see if you have any evidence you notice that could confirm that you could point to.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that 20.
Nat 20?
Yeah, plus 3.
He's
Oh.
detective.
Shit. Okay. Well, I wasn't gonna give you this. I wasn't gonna give you so much, but I guess I have to now.
Just say, am I right?
It is certainly possible that if someone is snuck up on and then attacked in the moments before they fall unconscious, they could have the strength to turn around, see someone, and be surprised. So that doesn't really tell you whether Beliala was involved or not. What does tell you is that she was attacked from the front which could be stealth, could not be. But from the front, Cal was concerned about closing the wound and doing magic. You notice the shape of the wound, which was very deep and low in the front and high and shallow coming through the shoulder, as if someone was firing a shadow spear or something of that nature from a significantly lower or shorter position.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's something to share. Which they do.
As Tinnitus is kind of like starting to is just really starting to notice that he's got more of an audience than he bargained for. He turns it back on Pagan and says, "So you brought your cleric here just to throw her away in an attempt against me? That is simply not the case, and I will prove it. Sister Denier, detectives, you are welcome to investigate this matter and see for yourself that I had no involvement in this plot.
All right.
For all I know, your abbot has staged the attack himself in order to weaken my position, or perhaps hide his own kidnapping of dear Sister Beliala."
May I have access to Beliala's rooms?
Yes.
Thank you. And anyone who is close to her, I would like to speak to them.
I do not know that anyone was close to her, but
Apart from you,
Harkin
because you care
did
so
she-
much.
and Harkin and Obscura did share a domicile with her, and it's possible they know more of her movements.
All right. I would like to speak to you privately at some point as well.
Agreed.
Now Cal realizes she's doing full work in her jammies, and she looks fucking miserable about it.
Yeah. You also see with that, or rather, I think Fish sees with the higher insight from before that Tinnitus is a little put out that the momentum has been taken away from his accusations, and now this is like an official investigation. But he is willing to keep mum from now. He and Umbra return back to the chapel. Vane stayed with Oss to treat her injuries, and Tail takes a moment to step up next to Cal and very, very quietly says, "Remember, sister, you are not just a member of our temple, and you are not just a member of our faith. You are also an investigator, and here you have power."
Cal nods.
And she steps back and retreats to the chapel as well. This is now sort of a full investigation, if you would like to start talking to people and gathering clues and such. But you do know that there is a time limit, because the event with Elise will begin at about 10 o'clock.
I've got some things.
Yes.
One, can Fish tell that Cal is uncomfortable being in her jammies?
I'm not going to make you roll up for it. Probably yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
2, is Kessel still here?
Kessel has taken the opportunity to be standing like as far from you guys as possible. Like he genuinely just kind of like wandered off into the graveyard a little bit. He's keeping close enough that you can still like call to him, but he very much was like, I don't want to be involved in this, and just kind of walked away and is looking tired and grumpy.
Okay. Well, still, it's a matter of like trying to get his attention and being like, take Denia back so she can get dressed. And if you're not going to do that, you can fucking take my jacket. I don't care. 3. What's Metal doing? How's she taking all this?
She is looking confused, but
Okay, no, scratch that. Is she also in her? Are you also in your jammies or what?
no, I think she was probably dressed for the day. So
Okay.
she's up early, so she's
Uh,
good.
All right, so Fish is really just offering their jacket to anyone who'll take it. Then it's like,
I
you
mean,
don't need it,
for
do
sure.
you? You probably don't want to wear my clothes, so go get dressed. They're on the fucking job. They get Kekano and say, all right, did you smell what the little necromancer smelled like yesterday?
Yes, I did.
Can you try and have a smell for her now, please?
Sure. She smells
boy.
like books.
Cal is gonna like gesture real quick before Kessel goes, and she'll be like,
Thank you. I mean, I can manage.
the only thing you would have to get insight for is Cal is only wearing probably a robe, like her full outer robe, and then a nightgown, and she's like, I don't want to do this without underwear. I hate that.
And that's so valid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But she's like, she gathers up everybody close, make sure nobody is in eavesdropping distance, and she's like,
It wasn't her. She's very similar to me, and I can't imagine her making a bold move like this, even if she did have the violent personality. Angelus was a short woman and was following us all day. I don't know if... The question is did Anarcha tell her abbot about Angelus yesterday?
Do we hope that she did or that she didn't?
Of extreme problems. If she did, then Pagan may already be working with Angelus and allowed her into the chapel and decided to let Anarcha take the fall. And if she didn't, then we'll have to try to, we'll have to frame that theory in a way that doesn't sound like we just made it up out of thin air.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's definitely not as simple as you just went and attacked her. There's certainly more to it.
Yes,
I don't think she did it either.
I'll be back in a few minutes. I go to the rooms first, and I'll when I return, I'll speak with Pagan. Thank you for both coming. I appreciate it. If you need anyone while I'm gone or someone to speak to, you can fully trust. Well, maybe don't tell her everything, but you can trust Sister Tail. I do. Everyone else, maybe not. Sister Tail isn't available, and Harkin is most of the way trustworthy. I think she points him out, and then she's like, but Tail first.
Got it.
As Kessel holds out a hand and teleports you back to the sanctuary.
what do you think? This dress or this dress?
You head inside.
Maybe this dress?
You
They're all
go.
black.
You go.
They're all black, yeah.
You go and open your door, instantly dispel the big spike of shadows that comes out to kill whoever opens your door, and Kessel goes, and fully jumps back. And then yeah, you can pick out your outfit for the day. Meanwhile, Kekino goes.
I smell grass and dirt and wait. Wait. I smell books.
Oh yeah? What direction?
This way.
And he hustles off into the graveyard a little bit. He eventually finds a little path that he reports that recently, although he's not sure when, Beliala left Pagan's work building, her offices, and started walking through the graveyard towards the chapel. About a third of the way across, he says the scent starts to disappear, and he can't track it anymore. So she was maybe not, early this morning, maybe on a previous day, she was kind of headed in that direction. But don't know if she made it there. Just circumstantial evidence.
Okay, good boy. Fish shares this with Metal, but says, and we're gonna keep this info to ourselves, unless you want to tell Tail if you trust that Denia trusts her. But I won't be speaking to any necromancers at this time unless it's old Tin Man there, because I'm suspicious about him.
For sure. I think maybe we'll just talk to Cal first. I feel like I'm gonna step in a lot of things here, and I don't want to mess anything up. This is an important day.
Ink question for Mads.
Hmm?
Did Metal say Cal or did she say Colliginous?
Oh, I think she said Cal.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be calling her.
then she goes, yeah, we'll talk to Denier. Because to them, it's like, why is everyone using this name suddenly?
Your little nickname. Where did it come from?
I think at that, Metal's like, Denier. Oh, wait, she said we're supposed to call her Cleric. Sorry. We're gonna get it. I'm trying. I don't want to mess anything up.
You're not Metal. It's okay.
Also, I am cold.
Oh, would you like my jacket?
Please.
Okay, no worries. Takes it off. They're just wearing a t-shirt underneath, so they're gonna be cold too, but they're not gonna say that. That's me saying that.
Yeah.
They were offering.
Yes,
Arm exposure.
Give it over to Metal. It's probably like floppy on her hands,
Cute.
like the sleeves. Yeah,
Love it.
it's very
Yeah.
comfy.
It is. It's very comfy. It's warm too, because Fish was just wearing it.
Thank you. We can trade. I'll give it back if you get cold.
No, it's all right.
I wasn't prepared, and I was like already dressed anyway. I forgot a jacket.
Can I borrow it if I get cold?
Feel like a blanket?
You can snuggle with Metal if that's all right with you, Metal.
Get in the pocket.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he climbs over and gets in the pocket and snuggles in close to Metal and goes,
Psst. Metal.
Yeah.
Psst.
Yeah.
I'm used to being in the water and the ice. I don't get cold very easily. I just wanted to snuggle.
But I was like, oh my god. So cute. Oh.
Kekino's just like little head is poking out of the jacket with Metal. Where do you head first? Do you want to head towards the chapel and investigate Tinnitus side of things, or do you want to head into the office and sort of the rooms and see what's going on there?
I also don't think Cal was that long, so she's probably
Yes.
back around the tail of this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Bitch.
God.
Okay, so the way I see it is that Cal got dibs on Pagan. So Fish is happy to let her do that. They're kind of wanting, well, yeah, as I said, they want to go talk to Tinnitus about it. What does Metal want to do?
I feel like Metal could also go with Fish. Partly just because I'm enjoying the Scooby Gang reunion. But she can go anywhere.
All right, well, Fish, when Cal comes back, goes, all right, where do you want us?
I
Yeah.
need someone to go to her rooms. Someone to ask more about my temple side of things and what Tinnitus says. Someone to speak to Oscura and Harkin. If you two want to work on those together or split up, that's okay. Kakano, I don't think any of these tasks are for you, so you will just help the two of them.
Okay, I will help people answer questions because I'll be like, please, and they'll be like, yes.
Correct. I'm going to speak to Kagan. I hope it's brief, and if I'm not back in, let's say, 10 minutes, assume I've been murdered.
Metal's like,
I
wait,
don't
wait,
like that,
wait, do you
Danielle.
I don't like that either.
Wait, is it just her? Did she just do it?
I think we would probably know if she had done it, but she does really want to kill people. That's why I was talking about Sarah yesterday.
I feel like
I'm
this
probably going to be
investigation's
fine.
Okay.
Okay, and so yesterday I'm like, oh, you might die, and you're like, no, no, I'm not. Oh, and now it's a thing. Okay, well, if you think that you can do it, I'll go talk to Guldick, and we'll see how that goes. I won't
can't-
kill him.
almost
Don't
laugh.
worry.
You definitely she catches it like
Okay, well, since we're very pressed for time, then I'll go investigate her rooms, and then maybe we'll just keep meeting up right
Yes.
here in this spot right here.
You point to a random little patch of grass in the graveyard right by the sidewalk.
yeah.
next to next
Fish
to whoever's
blasphemous
grave
darts
this
it to
is.
make a fish blasphemous darts it to make a little scorch mark.
Yeah, it
Excellent.
makes just like a little crater. A bunch of dirt flies up, dirt and piece of grass.
This is HQ.
Got it.
All right.
Right next to this gravestone.
This is base where you can't be tagged.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay. Break.
Thank you.
Break.
Got it.
This includes ink.
Then I think we will start with Cal and Metal. Cal finds Abbot Pagan waiting for you in sort of the front office part of the building, and is really focused on Cal to the point that when Metal's probably like, so their rooms were no, oh okay, and just kind of like wanders into the back. Metal quickly finds the accommodations, which are the sort of second story that only goes through half the building because the front entrance is very large, and you find that it has essentially been one large room, perhaps where there were desks or such for the accountants that used to work here. It has now been broken up with basically just like thin temporary walls into a bunch of like little bedroom nooks. And in the back is what was probably at one point a storage closet, if a particularly decent sized one, maybe for previous financial records or something like that, that has been gutted, and Pagan seems to be using as a bedroom slash private study. Very small, not a lot of personal space, and I think it's pretty obvious that the only one who has any sort of privacy is Pagan, and that for the others, it's sort of a situation of, pretend you didn't hear anything, because you will hear anything that the other people in the room do, even with these walls. Well, Detective Denier.
Hello. Before I ask any questions, is there any information you would like to volunteer towards me?
I have nothing to do with this. This was not done on my orders, nor did I condone it. I do not know the whereabouts of Sister Beliala, and I would like a full independent investigation to clear my name.
I never implied you had anything to do with it, Abbott. I just was wondering if you had anything to share about Beliala's character, or anything of the sort.
Ah. She did, the prickliness kind of backs off a little bit, as, she's expecting you to come in as Tinnitus's attack dog, and you're very clearly not. And she says, my good sister was I suppose a prodigy is one word for it, a very studious sort, able to use our magic in many strange and interesting ways. She kept to herself, mostly, but I saw value in bringing her here with me to establish the new Canadian temples. I thought her talents and knowledge would be valuable.
Is there any particular reason you're using past tense, Your Grace?
There is, as far as I can tell, no damage or blood or anything else pointing to Sister Beliala's disappearance. Sister Denier, she was strong. I would assume that she is either not with us because someone even stronger managed to take her by surprise, kill her, or take her away, or that she has betrayed our faith and taken herself away. And in either case, I suppose she is no longer a sister.
Understood. You don't have anyone who is particularly good at seeking out souls, searching for that in the passage, who might be able to confirm that she is still on this plane?
Nothing within my immediate sphere of influence may be able to find someone to do such work, but I am powerful enough to know that she did not die anywhere within 1 mile from here.
Understood.
Beyond that, I could not say.
Thank you.
And that's the first thing. I think she takes her notebook out and writes, which she does very, purposefully.
Yeah. I think you can also, I'm not going to say, definitely do it, but, feel free to insight check everything she's saying, because she's not necessarily telling you the truth.
Yeah, I'll just throw an insight just over. I think specifically how good of a I don't think this is the case, but I think Cal would give it a full thing of just specifically that I just use past tense because she's dead to me.
Yeah.
That's a 23.
Why? With a 23 insight, you get the sense that there are things that she is leaving out. Let me. Okay. Yeah. You get the sense that there is things that she's leaving out, specific things she's talking around. When she says, "I had Beliala here for her strength and expertise," you get the sense that that's the truth, but that she may be framing that in such a way to not elicit follow-up questions. Um, and same with kind of using past tense. I think that oh, she's betrayed our faith and left is not something she really believes. I think that I think that she is fairly convinced that if Beliala is gone, it's because she's dead. And 23 is enough insight to see that she's kind of like, I think Tinnitus didn't, but I also hope Tinnitus did it, because Tinnitus is someone I already have a problem with, and also it is more frightening for an unknown enemy to have done this.
Got it. Did she think, would I get that she thinks Tinnitus killed Oss as well?
I think you would need to ask her explicitly
Okay.
to get her thoughts on that. But once you do, I will, keep that insight for her answer. I will also say that a 23 insight gets you to not having someone who can kind of do some soul searching and stuff like that in your temple makes a lot of sense. Maybe in Europe as a whole, that's not heretical, but kind of not done in a way, so it's probably a pretty rare skill. The Americans, are a lot more kind of free and loose with how they use the magic, and Pagan is supposed to be, the big important necromancer
Yes.
on this continent. So being like, "Oh, I don't have anyone who can do that. Maybe I'll call in some favors," is kind of like, I don't think you clock that as a lie. I think you think that's the truth, and it's an interesting truth of being like, why doesn't she have the ability to do this?
Okay.
Her next question is going to be, what was the biggest contribution that Cleric Beliala brought to your temple?
She was always exceptional at creating change in the way our magic is used. Sometimes I felt more like, rather than a true cleric, she was a researcher. She would disappear for long periods of time, sequestered in her chambers, strange noises coming through the halls at night, and then she would reappear with a whole new way to use our magic.
Was she particularly skilled with combat?
She did not specialize in it, but many of the things she discovered could certainly be used for combat. With the insight, you get the sense that she is answering very carefully.
Yes.
And I think between the two of those, you kind of put together like, oh, what she's not saying is, I brought Beliala like explicitly to be kind of like my very talented assassin. It doesn't really slip your notice that like she's talking about this person like somewhat familiarly, and she's abbot of a temple of like probably 200 to 300 people. It's it's a little strange that she would even really know Beliala that well, unless she was truly exceptional, and that of all the people she could have brought, which she could have brought, like 10, 20, make her work a lot easier. She brought one, and she chose this one woman, which
Yeah.
means either she is so confident in that person's ability to keep her safe and enact her will, especially against, two of Tinnitus's people here with her, or she, for some reason, couldn't bring more than that.
In your opinion, if she was going to kill, would she use something as standard as a shadow sphere instead of something more inventive or creative, if you said that was her specialty?
I think that Sister Beliala was, above all else, a master of efficiency. She would have used whatever was easiest and quickest at the time. In the same way she did not waste words, she did not waste magic.
Is there any security that is in the chapel that my brothers and sisters were staying in?
There are watch charms, but we have not yet built up this area to house our visiting brothers and sisters. As I'm sure you're aware, Abbot Tinnitus and his entourage were a unexpected visit.
What did Beliala speak to you about yesterday when she returned?
She kind of narrows her eyes at you and just kind of sits quietly for a moment, clearly kind of weighing the options. And instead of immediately answering, she says, "You and the sanctuary researcher have been doing good work. I
Thank you.
believe you've entirely narrowed down the location of the Temple of the Hollow Graves, as well as the other closer temple."
Yes.
I noticed in the notes a particular focus on other temples. And she kind of leans forward, and with that insight, you get a little bit of desperation, but also a little bit of like comfort in like she's about to make moves that she's familiar with, which is, I always got the sense that your sister had a wandering soul. I wonder if you also have a wandering soul, sister. This country is fertile ground for new temples of our faith, and I'm sure there could be a place for you here, away from others.
Your Grace, is this related to my question?
Sister Beliala informed me that you completed your duties as assigned, and that there was a young woman who seemed to be of your acquaintance that you met with, who seemed to have a particular disdain for necromancers in some way. Though she reported she was rather friendly to you.
Beliala would, if she had given you a proper report, would have told you that the feeling was not mutual.
Beliala perhaps saw more than she spoke. And I think she kind of leaves you hanging on if that's like, I think you're full of shit, and Beliala reported as much, or she genuinely didn't tell me that, and maybe there was a reason, or maybe she was holding that back for something else, or maybe she's just like, I'm kind of fucking with you. I barely talked to her after she came back. Pagan is someone who is always kind of playing power games, and being in this very vulnerable position, she is now trying to assert her power with games again.
That was the entirety of what you spoke about yesterday?
We spoke of other things having to do with other so-called necromancers, heretics, ones visiting here for this conference. Only speaking in generalities, of course. No, nothing actionable, nothing criminal.
Beliala didn't ever mention we were being... Beliala didn't mention anything about magic I was detecting.
Beliala seemed perhaps concerned or confused about something in the nature of magic on your trip. She did not share with me anything specific.
That unusual for her to not share the details? Did she share them with you at a later date, or does she keep them much to herself?
I believe that if I were not her abbot, Sister Beliala would rarely speak to me at all.
I'm gonna insight check that.
Nowhere near as good. That's an 11.
Okay. With an 11, it's yeah, it's kind of mixed. It's like that could be that's certainly her view of like Beliala interacting with the average person. Is that true of her specifically and their relationship? Maybe, maybe not. I think you're not really getting a ton from that about their specific interactions.
All right. So besides directly asking about Angelus, I'm kind of running out of ideas for being Sherlock Holmes. Does anybody have anything that they suggest for me? / do you think that I should actually directly ask about Angelus? I'm worried that's showing my hand too much, which is why Kel's not doing it yet.
I feel like you could wait on that. I feel like you asked a good amount of questions. I feel like that's...
Yeah, you asked a good amount of questions. You didn't ask about Oss specifically or that attack, which you certainly could, but it's the kind of thing of like, if she knows information about Angelus that could help you, would she tell you?
Yeah.
And even if she did tell you, asking about it also gives away like your knowledge, which you know, which kind of gives her leverage over courses she can take in the future. Pagan is always looking for an angle.
Yeah.
Ellie, I'm gonna modify your question.
She's going to ask, what was Beliala's What is... Sorry, she's not going to use past tense. What is Beliala's necromantic object?
It's quite a scandalous question, sister, as you well know.
Is it? It's not in my temple. We're all very open about ours. And then she like pulls down her like a robe to show her choker.
Oh, it just seems so private. Sister Beliala had a armband that she wore under her robes. I believe it had some personal significance to her, but I am unsure of what exactly.
All right, thank you.
Making a stupid joke. Give me a minute. A joke I think only I will find funny, but that's fine.
Okay, done.
Uh,
I assume it's so funny. I don't.
it's funny in my
I don't-
mind.
I don't
If
know what it
anyone
means.
got
but
it,
I'm
it
here
would
for
be
you.
Ink, but I don't think Ink got it. It's fine. I know I'm
The
hilarious.
endless 8.
Yeah. She seems to type, you know? Anyways. I thought I had a question. What was it? You're so correct about necromantic object. Oh,
She's going to say, Tail had Tinnitus summon me for my use of healing magic. Do you not have anyone in this, in your temple that is a capable healer?
Brother Harkin has some healing magic. Why he would summon you instead of your brother from your own temple, I have no idea. She gives a little smile of just kind of like, just like push that needle in just a little bit. So division as she is wont to do.
Girl's like, lady, I don't give a fuck. I just need to know if you have good healers.
When did you become aware of the attack?
I became aware that Sister Beliala was missing from the premises about half an hour before Abbot Tinnitus came to make wild accusations against me and mine.
So you had the time to awaken and hearken and ask him to make peace with his brother and sisters and be allowed access, but that was not a move you made?
What she just explicitly said was basically, I was looking for Beliala. I knew Os was attacked kind of at the same time. You
Okay,
were
so never
there.
mind.
You accused me. But being like, it is interesting that Tinnitus wasn't like, yeah, the guy who's next door, and instead sent Tail by car to drive to the sanctuary to pick you up.
Yeah. Well, and she closes her notebook and she says, that is all I can think to ask you about. If you have any more information you'd like to volunteer to me, please let me know. I'll be rejoining my fellow detectives and learning what they've discovered.
Of course, sister. And if you have an answer for me about my query, we can discuss it privately sometime, perhaps over tea.
Cal nods and walks away.
Then I think we should shift to what Metal was getting up to in the bedrooms with
Cal stands on the spot and went, "She didn't kill me. Still alive."
Uh,
Where I am, I sense it.
Mads, would you like for Kekano to have stayed with Metal?
He
He-
was in the pocket, so
yeah, he
Yeah.
can help you. He can sniff things.
excellent. Yes.
Okay.
Right. Scoot over
Okay.
there. I'm ready to.
Metal is here seeing the rooms. Instead of doors, that's just like hanging sheets as little entryways into these personal little cubbies. You see people you recognize as Enharkin and Oscura speaking quietly at the end of the little hall, kind of in the small uh, in a small resting space before Pagan's bedroom. You can go speak to them. You can also explore Beliala's room or other people's room. Look for clues. It's up to you.
I'd like to explore the room. Or
Kekano goes.
Beliala's room. Yay.
He goes, sniff, sniff, sniff. This is the
Come on,
room.
buddy.
This is the room that smells like books.
And
Excellent.
you go in, and yes, Kekano sniffs you. He goes sniff, sniff,
On the
sniff.
case.
On the case. You open the little cubby to find a bed that is it's like a thin kind of like army cot, surplus, not comfortable in any way, shape, or
Yeah.
form, but a bed that's a little bit better than sleeping on a futon on the floor. Except the bed is entirely covered with books. The floor is mostly covered with books. There is, as far as you can tell, a little like nest that is on top of some of the books and a little bit under the bed with a single blanket where you can assume that Beliala just passes out in the middle of working on things before waking up and continuing to work on things.
Yeah. Can I look at what some of the books are? Like, what's
Absolutely.
the vibe?
Give me an investigation check. Kekano can't read, so I will say he does not give you
Okay.
advantage.
Well, that's all right. Listen, he's 2 weeks old. Relax.
Speaking of, I met my
13.
employer's little daughters today who came to the shop.
Cute.
All three of them have J names, and the oldest came up to me and went, paint, hammer, brush, and I was like, yeah, and I was like holding them
You're
up
killing
for her.
it. Cute.
And then we had
Yeah,
a whole
you're right. Well
and then we had a whole
done.
and then we had a whole conversation where her dad was like, how old are you? And she was like, I was like, no, you're 3. And I was like, yeah, 3, like this. And she was like,
It's hard.
yeah,
You know, it's
3. And then she's like, yeah, I'm this old. It's like, no, that's 5. This old. That's 4.
Cute. Oh,
Anyway, yeah, what was that investigation roll?
13. So they're all romance novels.
13. There is books that you don't really know what they're about because they're written in some other language. There's some in Latin. There's some in some sort of script you don't recognize. Maybe something Middle Eastern, maybe a proto form of Arabic or something like that. The ones you can read, there's a lot of books on magic and what you can kind of assume are necromancy and necromantic tomes and necromantic philosophy in in some way. But there's actually a shocking number of books that don't seem to have to do with necromancy, and quite a few of them don't seem to have to do with magic at all. There's a fair number of books that are kind of like natural sciences or mathematics. There's a whole lot of mathematics, and in fact, there's a lot of like there's some specialty books about how mathematics interacts with magic. Like some fucking sorcerer nerd wrote his treatise on functionally magic numbers and stuff like that. Uh, and yeah, a lot of things that I think with a 13, you are. I think with the 13, it's enough to put it together like, oh, somebody very well read and like broad base of knowledge, somebody who can maybe take a lot of different knowledge and apply it in different cohesive ways. There's nothing that explicitly calls to you with a 13 of things being like dark or evil or anything like that. But with a 13, there's also like from Cal and some of your study sessions with her and Jamal that sometimes there's a book and it's like the tome of Saint Jerome the Illustrator, and then it's like, okay, we'll just flip to chapter 7, how to impale people. It's like necromancer tomes aren't just like how to be evil 101. There's you have to get into them to get the juicy bits. But yeah, with a 13 you kind of all see that very quickly.
You said all that's in there is just the little bed and then the books?
Mm-hmm. The little nest and the books. There's not a side table. There is a lamp. It is clearly like was broken and has been repaired. You don't know on a 13 if Beliala repaired it or if someone else repaired it for her. But it was clearly like the level of broken of like someone pulled it out of the trash and like rewired it and things like that, like busted.
I think Metal might just do like a little snoopy snoop, like looking under the bed and like looking like in the lamp kind of like level of investigating, and then after that she'll be like, well, that's all.
Okay.
Moves some stacks of books, flips through some, no monies in them.
Gotcha. Okay, because you're doing like a much more thorough toss of the room. I am going to have Kekino roll an investigation as well,
Get in there, buddy.
if he gets better than you, we'll do advantage rolls and give you a little bit more, but only for things that don't have to do with books or reading. Kekino goes off and explores the room, and you are looking at these books, opening a couple, flipping through them, checking the pages, flipping them over, searching under the mattress and in the lamp, and then you realize you haven't seen Kekino in a little while.
Buddy? Kekino?
Help.
Help!
Help! You look under the bed where you find that Kekino has been part of a book avalanche while trying to copy your follow your lead and flip through the books and search for hidden things, and he is buried under some very heavy books, just his little tail sticking out going
No, oh my god, I dig him out.
Metal, I wasn't very good at the snooping.
What happened? You bumped into
Well-
him too hard. Now look.
Well, you were like, let's search, and then you were looking at the books and you were flipping them over and you were shaking the pages, and so I took one and I pulled it out and I flipped it open and I put it in my mouth and I went to like shake out the pages, and then it hit another stack of books and it fell on me and I got stuck and it was heavy.
No, Kekano, you're going back in the pocket, bud.
Yeah.
Putting him in.
He rolled a 2 on that investigation check.
You're killing it. Absolutely killing it. I
Yes,
appreciate the effort. You're doing really
what else
good.
do you want to do? There's no sign with a 13, I will say, of like an attack or anything like that. But also, this room is inherently very messy. So with a 13, I think you're aware of your own limitations of being like,
Yeah.
it's possible there was something here and I'm just missing it because it's kind of messed up to begin with.
Mm. Okay, well, I guess that is all. Can I peruse the other little rooms in this big room?
You step out into the hallway again where you see and Harkin and Askira looking at you, and then instead of going and talking to them in their eye line, you just kind of turn and open the curtain and head into one of their rooms. You realize that this is in Harkin's room. You would assume because there is a very kind of masculine cologne in the air.
Hmm.
And as you enter what seems to be a very Spartan but like nice little room, well-made bed, a nice little side table with a lamp, like a fine crystal goblet and a mostly drunk bottle of wine. Kekano, as you enter, is sniffing and then sneezes really big and goes, "That cologne is really strong. Do you think it's there because of the blood?"
What?
Because there's the blood. I
In
smell it.
here?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yes.
Where? Like where?
I think like. Oh, this is hard to narrow down. It's smelly in here. It's here. Metal, I found it here.
And he points at a part of the side table. You can see what seems like a drawer that was out, got blood on it, and it has like a kind of spatter pattern on the side of the drawer, and then someone then pushed the drawer in. And it is not a concerning amount of blood as if someone died, but an amount of somebody getting injured.
I know there's no like way we're gonna be no one's gonna be doing fingerprints or anything. Can I just like use my little wind to like open the drawer?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to touch it.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to disturb the blood.
Yeah.
In regards to Mooney's thing, people don't generally like, strip down, kind of like aim at the side table and then try to like super soak her into the wood. But
You would be surprised where blood ends up. You would be like, what happened? Why is it there? Everyone else is laughing because I'm correct.
Yeah, I think we might be the experts on this one.
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like wisp open the drawer very carefully.
You create a small vacuum and pull open the drawer, seeing blood caught in the runners and sort of hidden on the side of the um, drawer. I will say you continue your 13 investigation. It looks
Bloody?
fresh. Not extremely fresh. It is starting to dry and tack up, but it's not totally dry yet. Definitely happened in the last couple hours at least.
Mm, well, that's concerning. Tekno, is there anything else that smells very weird in here? Or is it just the bad cologne and the blood?
There's a bad cologne and the blood,
Yeah.
and that's mostly it. I think there's like
Okay.
a, I think there's like a, I think there's like a book over here.
And he's just kind of like, it's like, here's a book that's on the side table. It smells like ink and leather. Here's a little basket of toiletries tucked away under the bed very neatly.
It's like, nothing else is weird.
Did you say there was anything in the drawer?
It looks like there is a little bit of blood on the items in the drawer, as if the drawer was open. But the items themselves don't seem particularly relevant or
Oh.
germane. It doesn't look like they were moved, during the attack or anything. It's just like there's some notebooks, there's some pens, there's some like jars of cream. This is where the cologne was, which is the only thing that doesn't have blood on it. And I think a 13 is enough to realize that if it had been in the drawer where it is now sitting, it would have gotten at least a little on it. So, sequence of events that you're kind of putting together. Somebody got injured in some kind of way. Then someone closed the drawer to like quickly disguise the scene of injury, and then took cologne that was maybe sitting on the table and sprayed it around to hide the smell of blood before then putting it away.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just gonna skedoodle out of here and then go to one of the other rooms, and I'm just gonna like look at the two people who I didn't realize until you mentioned it that they're standing right outside. So I'm just gonna like look at them, insight check, and then go into the next room.
You just mad dog them. You come out and you're like, "Yeah, I'm looking through your shit," and then go into the next room. Yeah, do an insight check.
It occurs to me, yeah, I suppose I could have talked to them first, but you know what? No, I'm an investigator. I'm supposed to be here right now. Okay, this is my job. It's not my fault you live near a murder scene.
Let them try and stop you.
Literally. That is a 15.
With a 15 insight check, you get the sense that they are nervous, a little worried, and confused by you going into their rooms. Like, going into the room of someone who's disappeared makes sense. Just kind of like walking down and checking out the other rooms is a little strange, but they don't seem necessarily guilty. They seem like this situation is concerning to them, and they are kind of holding themselves in readiness as if they're waiting for you to come over and ask them questions.
Yeah, Mel's like, I'm right with you. It's just a moment.
Yes. We. As you go into the last room, which is Askira's room, you see that she has somehow sourced pink drapes with black embroidery that she has made into sort of like a princess canopy over her bed. the other two rooms had really thin, shitty mattresses with bad, like, army surplus cots. Same cot, but there's like 3 of the little thin mattresses on it
Okay, Miss
to make it
Princess.
a little nicer. Um, just clearly someone who likes the finer things and is kind of decorating her own space in a way that, at least from your experiences with Cal, is not super appropriate, but whatever.
Princess and the Pea.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think your casual knowledge of necromancer culture and dealing with Cal for so long is it's kind of like, hey, you're not really supposed to have like worldly comforts that much. You know, to suffer is to live. You're just kind of you deal with it. You see someone who is very much going out of her way to get worldly comforts in a situation where she was kind of deprived of them.
Yeah.
It's not like someone was like, hey, you're going to be staying here. We got a nice feather bed. It's like, hey, you're staying here. We got you shit and garbage, and you tried to make it as great as possible.
Love that. Alrighty.
Give me a last investigation check for Askira's room, and we'll say make it with advantage. Because
Okay.
Kekino is fired up about finding the blood. Because
Yeah, now he's
he did roll
feeling it.
a dirty 20 to find that blood smell.
Oh wow, okay. 16.
A 16. You find a lot of like letters of a personal nature, writing to uh, a number of people, mostly men, you notice, and most of them have romantic like subtext, as well as being like written and received in kind of the same time frame. Um,
Okay.
there's not a lot of there's not a lot of like stuff you can glean from them that's relevant in any way. It's just a lot of like, oh, personal life stuff. You don't really find much that's interesting about this case, just things that are interesting about her uh, personally. And yes, if Fish had ever been to France, which I believe canonically before the season started, we established they had not, uh, uh, absolutely one of those would be from Fish. But and also like responses to letters. Clearly she's writing back. She's got multiple men on the leash.
Okay. Metal is internally like, oh, and kind of gets lost in it for a minute and is like, oh my goodness, sorry. This is not what I'm
Yeah,
looking for.
for just a second, the drama of these letters, which are some of them are very like poetically written, but like in the bad poetry way of someone who's uh, in too deep and does not have the self-awareness to know that they're writing bad poetry. You get caught up in that drama, and you're just suddenly like, oh right, no, the drama is supposed to be the mystery.
The murder or the almost murder
Almost
disappearance.
murder, maybe kidnapping or murder.
Should I tell Cal about this? Okay, anyway. Yeah, I was just gonna put it away. And noted. um all right. And if that's everything that she can look at in this whole big room, then she will go to the people.
Yeah, I will say. I will say that that investigation was also high enough that there is a picture frame showing a picture of a nice nice kind of like river meadow. You're not really sure exactly where it is, but as you're searching around the room, the back kind of falls off, and you find a couple of pictures that are like, that are like clearly a naked man, very, very like draped in an outer robe that just covers things, but you can see those bare legs or
Yes.
from behind tight against that butt.
Wow.
Yes, necro nudes.
Metal shuts her eyes immediately and then covers Kekano's eyes. And
What's
then puts it
happening?
back.
What was
Nothing.
that?
Inappropriate. No one needs to know. She's
Inappropriate. So I need to tell Dad.
inappropriate.
I need to tell Dad. Dad told
I
me
mean,
to get them when
all right.
there's something inappropriate.
I don't like the sound of that.
They were saying, Kekano, order of operations, cover your eyes, cover your ears, send out a message that says, Dad, there's something inappropriate here. And that they would come running and take
oh,
that
okay. Well,
inappropriate thing and take it away and hide it. So I didn't
I
have
love
to
the
see.
I love the idea that this would interrupt Fish's tinnitus meeting. So I'm kind of like, if you want to say something, that's up to you. But I was like, I don't think it's urgent, so I wouldn't worry about that right now.
Okay.
Anyway, all right, I'm just putting it away. We can. Nobody needs to talk about that later. Anyway, okay. And then she's gonna be like, hello.
Walk out into the hallway. Kekano has his like nose pressed against your leg because he's still covering his eyes, so he can't see as you're kind of like guiding him out of there.
You're good now. You're good.
And then you come up to and Harkin and Oscura, who are waiting for you.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Good morning.
Easy.
Sorry. Well, no, and that's why I'm here. I was just doing a little investigating. As I'm an investigator on what has become a case this morning. Um, I see that you guys are roommates with Beliala. Can I ask you some questions?
Please ask away. Yes, please. Whatever you need to know about poor sister.
Okay. Well, when did you see her last?
I saw her when she returned from a trip with Sister Denier, and I believe you as well.
Mhm.
And she spoke to the abbot and then was in her room for much of a time. I believe she took her dinner in there, and that was the last I saw.
Okay.
I heard some sounds coming from her alcove every once in a while, nothing unusual.
Um, okay. Um, um, I forgot the other questions I was going to ask. Um, I'm going to steal Ellie's question.
Oh, I also realized that uh, and Harkin didn't answer.
Oh yeah.
And he essentially says, um, I saw her fairly late at night, sort of walking the halls, and I believe she left at some point to walk outside, but then I heard her come back in.
Okay. What kind of like hours does she keep? Does she normally like up all night or anything like that, or is it unusual?
Um, and Harkonnen and Oscura like quickly glance at each other, and then Harkin kind of diplomatically says, "Well, she kept to herself mostly, and so her hours were her own. I could not say with any certainty what her regular hours are. Um, I think that's probably enough for you to be like, let's insight check. What's these like reading between the lines here."
Yeah, I was gonna say I would like a vibe check on these two questions.
Mhm.
Is there a Kekino advantage in this situation? Kekino, what do you think, bud? What are you
Yeah,
feeling?
yeah. No, I think so.
Okay.
I think there's a little bit of an unguarded moment where you're like, this is my cool seal friend.
Yeah, we just like
Can he smell the sweat running down the back of their necks?
yeah.
That's a pretty good reason to give advantage.
It'll be 16.
Okay. With a 16, I think Harkin is being diplomatic, but he is not trying to be deceptive. So I think a 16 is enough to know that although he is explicitly saying, well, she kind of kept her own hours, kept to herself. What he is strongly implying is, I would see her at random times of the day, and then she would be in her room, and sometimes I would hear noise from her room, and sometimes she would pass out. I think she would just be in a room working and reading until the abbot made her go out in public and do work in public before going back to her room and reading until probably she passed out at some point, and then would wake up and keep reading the book she had been reading before she passed out.
I see. Okay.
Between that and the room you saw, I think you get a sense of like somebody who doesn't actually like sleep, but so much loses consciousness as they can't keep themselves awake anymore for like 3 hours before they wake up, not knowing how much time has passed, and keep doing whatever they were doing.
Oh man. Um.
Someone who is definitely like eating meals and being like, I don't know if this is like my 6th meal today or like this is the first time I've eaten in like 3 days.
Oh no. Um. Okay. So, but she kept to herself a lot. So I'm assuming you guys don't know her very well.
I suppose we know her as well as anyone could after working together, but I would not say we were close.
Okay. Um, do you think that she would like attack somebody?
I think the pause there is kind of weighing a little bit before he says, um,
Not a no.
no, not randomly, by any means. Ha, yeah, that was a shit deception check. Yes, she would absolutely go kill somebody if ordered to. And he's like
Not
very much talking
randomly.
his way
Well,
around it by not. Yeah, she wouldn't do it randomly. She would
she
do
had
it
a
if somebody
motive.
told her to.
Damn. Metal's like, uh-huh. So, um, it, did you ever see her fight? What kind of like what kind of weapon or like sort of fighting style does she have?
I uh Askira is like,
I actually had reason to spar against her only once.
Mhm.
Um, it was it's somewhat undescribable. We began, there was darkness and slithering things and pain, and then it was all right, and the match was over. I could not explain it in any real way.
All right. Well, that sounds interesting. Um,
You can absolutely press in Harkin about the fact that there's, blood in his room.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Very good point. Um, okay, that's all very interesting. You probably saw, I looked in your rooms as well, just to cover my bases as an investigator. Um,
Of course.
I couldn't help but notice, that I couldn't help but notice there was blood in your room on the side table. Are you all right? Did something happen?
No, there should be no blood in my room.
Um, well, there is. I can show you, and it smells very strongly of some questionable cologne in there, so I can't help but feel like perhaps you used it as well.
I think you get a little whiff from him as you're talking to him, and you're like, "Oh, this is his cologne. Someone
Yeah.
clearly sprayed it around the entire room as a disguise, but this is his cologne."
Yeah.
So it's like, well, I mean, some people find this scent very masculine, but
All right. Okay.
uh,
And I love that for you.
yeah, show me this blood.
All right. Well, it's in your room, and she's gonna here you go. What's this
Um,
about? What is this creepiness?
with the 16 you had before, you see that he genuinely didn't believe you.
Oh,
But that he
interesting.
that and when he sees it, yeah, 16's high enough, especially because his last deception check was so shit. 16's high enough that I think you see going through his mind, the first thought is, this is planted evidence against me or something. And I think with realizing that, you're like, oh, you know, the necromancers may not be as unified as you would hope. They might actually be all out to get each other.
Mm.
But he goes forward and inspects it and sees how it's fresh, but not too fresh. It very clearly wasn't just placed here. And he wipes a bit off the table and conducts a bit of magic in his hand. And then he looks very concerned and like he's not going to say anything, but then decides to, and he looks at you and says, um, I believe this is the blood of Sister Beliala. I know how this looks, but I
Uh-huh.
do not know anything about her whereabouts or condition. It seems like she is injured in some way.
Um, I don't know if Metal's going to say this out loud, but it is kind of just funny that they were like, "Oh, I'll cover up the scent of the blood with this cologne," and not clean up the blood. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
which
saying?
which which speaks of something which speaks, I think, with that insight and kind of the little bit of deception and potential game playing you sense going on is it's like
Mm.
is it's like Did somebody do that because it's like disguising the smell, but also bringing more attention to the room so that you can find it? Or,
Yeah.
is it uh, ineffectively hiding evidence, or is it pretending to ineffectively hide evidence in order to bring attention to evidence that's, planted? Or like you can get as many layers as you want, but I think you realize if it's genuine, that just kind of like, oh shit, I don't have a towel. Cologne, goodbye. Is a very
Yeah.
quick way uh th-
Yeah.
to cover something up if you're in a rush. But yeah, you have no way of knowing how genuine this was. But that Beliala has been missing, and here is her blood seemingly spilled in Harkin's room during the time that she went missing, which was nighttime. Just begs the question somewhat: where was Harkin when this happened?
That's what I was gonna ask. um, listen, and Harkin. I get how you're probably freaking out right now. This does seems like a lot, and obviously I can't fully just mark you off on the suspect list here. What what were each of you doing during the last night and during the time of what happened?
Well, I was working, writing some letters, and then sleeping. Of course, need your
Like,
rest. Yeah, beauty rest, as they say. Um, and Harkin says, yes, I was resting as well, all evening and through this morning until I was awoken by our abbot. Um, yeah, I know. Accents are hard, okay? Um, I was awoken by our abbot when she discovered the sister was missing.
Hmm.
That. Oh my god, my guy, learn to lie better. Fuck me. Um. Uh. Almost. Almost immediately, Kekino goes. He's sweating and telling untruths, I think. Did you get that? He's lying.
Yes, Kekino, I couldn't help but feel the same way. Um,
I mean,
and Harkin,
it's
I'm so
bad when
sorry,
like
but
I
yeah.
notice. He
Yeah,
smells like dad all the time when dad talks.
wow, okay. Um, I think you should go a little bit deeper into your explanation.
um, there is
There's
no
blood in
explanation.
your room.
I was asleep. I don't know how it got there.
You know for a fact that that he's lying. It's just, was he lying about being asleep, or was he lying about being here? It's possible he was up and somewhere at the time of the attack, or it's possible
Yeah,
he was awake and participated in the attack.
yeah. I think I just remembered Metal speaks French.
Yep.
So I want to switch to French just because I can. um, yeah. Um, and um, I think she's gonna say, like, obviously everyone in this room can speak French, but I think she's gonna switch to French and then say, we can speak privately if that would make you more comfortable. But I will have to report this to the rest of the investigation team. So this is your chance to just clear your name right now.
He make a persuasion check actually, or intimidation check.
Listen, I'm just looking. My intimidation's very high.
Yeah, I know, because we did that when we were building your character, and then later we made your character's personality, and it was someone who is very rarely intimidating.
I don't remember that. Oh, I didn't even do that on purpose, Mooney, but you know what? You're welcome.
Yeah.
It is the rich person intimidation. I think you should listen to me, you know? Oh, okay. 25.
As you say that, he his eyes flick for just the smallest second towards Oscura, who is looking a little confused and concerned, and then he says, I have nothing to say. I was in my room asleep. And then he mouths in like the middle of saying that privately, of saying like, I will tell you, not when other people are listening.
Place. Okay. Okay. Well, I understand. I will take this information along. And I'm gonna not say this out loud, but I'm gonna try and figure out how to talk to him privately later. I think she just nods at him and nods at both of them and is like, "Thank you for your time."
You could certainly try and do something now to like be like, "Hey, Oscura, can you go get the abbot to like confirm something for me or something?" You know, get her away from there. But you can also just try and find him later and get more information.
I think what I'll say is, you know, thank you for your time. I'm going to be at this location now. I'll be here at this location.
There's a big divot in the grass next to one of the graves.
If anyone wanted to talk to me,
if you go there, you can't get tagged. So if you want to talk to me,
yeah, she's going to say something about here's where I'm going alone with the seal. If only anyone wanted to talk to me, I could be there. All right, see ya. And then she's gonna hope that he'll come after her later.
And then we swing over to, at the same time, Fish heading back into the chapel. You see a very interesting tableau. Tail is sort of pacing nervously. Umbra is just standing in the corner sweating. Vane is still caring for Os, and Tinnitus is sitting on a broken pew, holding Os's hand, stroking it, but seems like a million miles away. Like he's, you know, got plans and plans that he's working on. And then suddenly like snaps to attention as soon as you walk in the room.
I'm rolling intimidation immediately. Fish is walking in there with the sunglasses on. They've got they don't have their cool jacket on, but they're trying to make it work with just the t-shirt. They're coming in here like bad cop. So yeah. That's 18 I've rolled.
18 for intimidation? Okay.
Yes.
With that intimidation, you don't like just open the door and step in to ask questions. You kind of like shoulder it open. It
Yeah.
slams into the frame as you come in. Everybody is immediately looking at you and clearly like on guard. You actually see Umbra like reflexively gather some shadows, like he's going to attack you, before kind of like holding and waiting and seeing what other people do. But yes, all attention is now on you. As Tinnitus looks at you and very quietly, but with a little bit of venom perhaps as a response to your attitude, is like, "Welcome, detective. Although I do not own it, that is my door to care for in the time being, if you would not mind being gentle with it."
I hope you take better care of it than you do your clerics. Now, down boy, this is to Umbra, like with its shadows. Thinking, Abbot Tinnitus, I'm so sorry that we are really having our first proper conversation under these circumstances, but I think it is time for you and I to have a little talk about what's going on with your people here.
Oh?
Well,
And
yeah, we got to account for everyone and everyone's actions. So, when Cleric Ost was attacked, where were you?
I was resting.
Resting.
Yes. There are many demands on an abbot's attention. I was resting.
Insight, please. I've rolled a 19.
Okay, wow. With a 19, I'm actually gonna say he's gonna roll with a disadvantage because the intimidation is kind of throwing him off his game. Wow, that's way worse. He is lying, and you know that. D- Resting, sure. At the moment of the attack, no. He was. I think it occurs to you that like this is not a big place. If he was anywhere in this room and he was awake, he would have heard things and been able to respond immediately. He may not have been here, not just not sleeping, but it may not have been in this building. Which then, of course, begs the question of where was he?
Abbott, I'm not sure that you want to keep embarrassing yourselves in front of your people like this. So you can tell me the truth. Where were you? What were you doing? Or maybe we can take it down to the sanctuary, and I'll call up my friend Grumble, who I believe is you may have heard of him, Truth Mage, and you can tell it to him. Your choice.
You speak without knowing, child. I was the one who recruited Mr. Grumble for our little sanctuary. And if you think that you have authority over me, or that you can bring me into that dirt heap, well, you're simply a fool.
I've been called worse.
I'm sure you have.
Finish is going to do a real quick Eldritch sight, just of the room. Just have a glance around, see if there's anything special.
Give me a perception check.
Mm-hmm.
I will also say if you get above a 10, I'll give you kind of like, generally speaking, as you're looking around, you'll also see how everyone else is kind of reacting to this conversation.
That's 4.
You win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
When you turn on your Eldritch Sight, what you get is darkness, and then you're like, wait, no, that makes sense. Magical traces of necromancy are usually
Yes.
dark. I don't know. There's like, okay, there's like a spot on the wall where there's kind of like a chip carved out that looks like somebody shot it. It's about what you can get. Some magical residue there as if from an attack, maybe the attack. Actually, no, that makes sense. That is where the blood is. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. As you also look around, you see that Vane is seeming to pay as much, if not more, attention to this conversation than he is to ministering to Os, but is not looking at any of you, very much pretending to be absorbed in his duties. Umbra has let his magic fall and has kind of stepped back and is looking really anxiously at you because you dared to talk back to his abbot. Tail is staring at Abbot Tinnitus because she knows what it's like when he lies and knows that he's lying and is now wondering why.
Well, like I said, you can tell me the truth whenever you feel like it. My seal could sniff out that the little one, the one that we're the fugitive, the one that we're after, the one that you think did the attack, was outside at some point, but then not. And I'm just wondering, maybe you intercepted her, met her out there, some kind of thing.
Well, perhaps your seal sniffed her until the point where she cloaked herself to attack my companion.
Outside?
Yes. Surely your seal lost the scent when she used her magic to hide herself.
No. Maybe. You could be right. You could also be very wrong. Cleric Tail, where were you when the attack happened?
I was sleeping just a few feet away. I woke up when it happened. Sister Os was on guard, as it were, keeping an eye on us while we rested. And I believe I woke up either when the attack happened or when she hit the ground. I couldn't say which.
Hit the ground, that's what made the noise. I don't take it that she was a very noisy person.
Sister Os, you mean? No, generally speaking, not.
Very interesting. And Umbra, where were you?
I was. Oh, right. Okay. Investigation. Abbott, can I? Yeah. Oh, okay. I was sleeping.
Shut up. Now, Abbot Tinnitus. If Os is, as I'm gathering, really your bodyguard / guard dog, as like I'm kind of the vibe that I'm getting, then it means that whoever attacked her may well. You don't have to say certain things. May well have been after you, and so it's just interesting to me that you are not actually being helpful when we're trying to find this person who may well still be after you. Why would you lie to me? Why won't you tell me where you were, what you were doing? I'll tell you what I was doing. I was actually sleeping. Obviously, you're not very interested.
I will say this once, and only once. This is the business of our faith. This is the business of necromancers, and I don't appreciate a sanctuary dog sniffing around. Ask your questions, and then leave. And we will get on with what we must do in response to this incident.
Is he at all emotionally affected by us being attacked? I think I know the answer to that is no, and it's just a purely like him thing. Yes?
There is a certain amount of upsetness in the way that someone is upset when they breaks their favorite tool. It's not a lot of like concern for us as a person necessarily, but a lot of like, oh, it would be really great if she wasn't hurt. You know, she's very loyal to me and she's useful. You know, if there is a little bit of grief about us as a person being very injured, it's a little bit.
You know what, Abbott, you are so right. It's really not my place. These are your people, it's your deal, it's your thing. So in that case, you know, don't try and wave your dick around about how you had anything to do with the sanctuary, because if that's not your thing anymore, then you kind of don't have any authority over me. So I'll go back to my shit, and you can stay here and clean up your shit. Very best of luck. I really hope that no one else gets hurt. Good morning, everyone. Leaves.
As you're giving that speech, you can see him getting angrier and angrier, and you can feel a little bit of like pressure in your ears as something is kind of pressing on you a little bit, and then it disappears as you start to walk away. And as you
Arcana roll, was it similar to what Tone's magic feels like? 17.
With a 17, no. This is some sort of Tone's magic. Tone's magic is a psychic intrusion. This is some sort of physical phenomenon.
I was poking at my ears, literally.
Yeah. If anything, it feels a little bit like what Cal does, but in a very altered way. But as you leave and push open the door, you see that Sister Tail is going to follow you, and then you push open the door, and you hear, "Dad, Dad, there's dirty bad things here."
Oh.
Dad, I'm
okay.
sounding the Kekno alarm.
All right.
Metal said there's things I can't look at because they're adult.
Okay. Thank you very much. I
You're
will discuss
welcome.
this with Metal.
As you told me to, I will report that it is in the office in the upstairs in the third room on the left.
Okay, which drawer?
I don't know. I think Metal was doing something with a picture frame.
Okay, all right. I can figure it out from there. Thank you, pal.
You're welcome, Dad.
Mm.
As you leave, Sister Tail follows you and stops you just outside the door and says, Detective Fish,
Yes.
Sister Denier has spoken of you before in her letters.
Only good things, I imagine.
No, quite the opposite for the most part, but
That sounds right.
have sensed a begrudging respect in her messages.
Hmm.
If you do care for her as your friend and fellow investigator, I would say keep her out of this mess if you can. And I don't think this is holy necromancer business.
Neither do I,
I
Sister Tail. Thank you.
She reaches out a hand and just gives you a little like pat on the hand before going back into the chapel. As you head over to the mark where you are awaiting Caligulus and Metal. They both appear at about the same time and walk over together. As you meet up and start comparing notes, Cleric and Harkin comes out with a tea tray and some
To the grass?
tea. Yes, you're carrying it out, and says, "The good Abbot Pagan asked for me to bring you refreshments," which he says in French, entirely and completely excluding Fish, but also kind of signaling to Metal, like, I'm here privately now.
Fish just sees that
Love
there's
that.
teen is like, awesome. Love it. I'll take some.
What time is it now? Like, is it like 7 in the morning?
Yeah, it's probably about 7:30, getting closer to 8.
Jeez Louise, we gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Metal's gonna speak in French back and be like, "Thank you so much for coming. Guys, I found blood in his room, and he's gonna explain to me why that wasn't his fault. So here we are. I told him to come to the secret meetup, and now we're
I
here.
thought we
Go
were
on.
speaking privately.
Oh, well, privately with my investigation team. Sorry.
Brother and Harkin, do you trust Investigator Vaught more than me?
Fish doesn't speak French, if that helps.
No, I have no idea what we're talking about. The seal doesn't either.
I'm not listening anyway.
You respond in French. I'm not listening anyway.
Yeah.
And
No, they said it
Harkin
in Russian, actually.
and Harkin says, I feared you Sister, I feared you might be a little too close. You know how necromancers are with their shadow games. Which is a code word for kind of necromancer politics. You know, necromancers are all supposed to be on the same side, which means that when they're uh, undermining each other and fighting against each other and ruining each other's lives, it's all kind of under the board in the shadows.
Cleric, I've always made my loyalties incredibly obvious.
Yes, you have. Your sister, Tail, your faith, and our temple. In that order. Very well. I fear Tail may be at risk if this escalates. I was not sleeping in my room early this morning, as I claimed to Detective Vaunt. I was meeting with Tinnitus in order
I knew
to
it!
exchange information about Pagan's plans.
You two have never been known to get along.
And we will continue to be known to not get along. Which is a little kind of wink and nudge about being like, yeah, you know, it is beneficial to us to maintain that appearance. It may also be true, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to work together on certain stuff. Um, in saying that, he is kind of like moving his attention away from metal or over to Cal, and says, I remind you, sister, shadow games. There was a reason Askira and I were put on this mission, close with Pagan. A loyalty test of sorts.
I noticed he called for me and not you when it came to peeling off.
I noticed that as well. Perhaps he does not trust me as far as he claims.
Tekano has been whispering in Fish's ear, and they go, Metal, where was this blood that you found?
His room.
Oh. Dude, you're getting set up.
Perhaps. Perhaps so. We shall see. As and Harkin starts to clear up the tea service, and starts to walk away, Cal, you feel a little vibration in your pocket.
Where the fuck are you? Mikhail's like, oh no. Could
Girl,
be
I already
Sarah,
got the
could be
table.
Elise. Both bad. Cal's gonna be like,
Oh, that might be Sarah.
yes, we spoke very briefly this morning.
Oh, yeah, she's still alive?
Still alive.
Good. Good.
Or was
Love to hear it.
An hour ago.
And she's gonna like look, see if there's anybody. Is N Harkin still there at the clearing of the tea, or is he still
He's still like finishing up. He does seem to be like kind of taking his time, but is like giving you the opportunity to like ask him to stay to discuss something, but not like trying to hang around necessarily.
okay?
Does Cal want him to fuck off?
Cal's gonna look at Metal and be like, well, Metal, I'd like you to, in French, I'll say, Metal, I'd like you to continue talking to Enharkin, and I just want his personal opinion on a few things. Let him know it's off the record.
And she says that, like, quietly, but enough that Enharkin can know. Nothing, like, private, really. And she says, I'll be back in a moment. And steps away that she can speak quietly into the Sending Stone in case it is Elise. But she's not, like, super far.
Fish,
Also, it's like, I can't do the fucking French chick here.
Fish, assuming that it's Sarah calling, is just following.
It could be Sarah. I don't really know how to say no. So she takes the stone out and she's gonna go, hello, in English.
So, the network that Sarah is on and the network that Elise has are entirely separate.
Yes,
You've
they
got
are.
one stone that only goes to Elise, and you've got one
Mhm.
stone that goes to a couple people, including Sarah. So
Yeah.
when you open the pocket that's buzzing, you realize it's the Elise stone.
Okay. She's gonna go, oh, it's May. Sorry. It's May.
Oh, hi, May. How's it going?
I'll let her know. No,
I
I'll
still
let
have
her
your
know.
boyfriend's
I'll let her,
sunglasses. I'm wearing
I'll
them
let
right
her
now.
know.
Okay, tell her that she owes me a lesson. Okay?
I will.
All right. Okay. Be safe out here, Denya. Okay? It's bad times.
Thank you. I guess you were less paranoid than I thought you were.
Sometimes it's good and healthy. Sometimes. All right, catch ya.
Cal's gonna answer very dryly. Gonna answer with "Hello, May. Hello, May. Gladly."
Ellie, are you doing a little fun subterfuge thing? That's adorable. Anyway, I'm just calling to tell you that we've arrived in town. Everyone's all here and we're getting set up in that nice hotel you picked out for us. We'll be all ready for the event and we want to see you. If you'll come over, maybe bring your little friends, you know, the spiders. I think you mentioned a spider named Fish who was possessed. I believe there's a cat. And yes, we're gonna chat up, show you around, and see how you are.
Sister Oss is dead. I'm sorry, no, Sister Oss is injured. Sorry, I forgot. We weren't actually doing a murder. She doesn't say that. Sister Oss is dead. Do you have anything to do with it?
Oh, Sister Oss was here. I did not know that. Well, I'm sure it would have gotten to me eventually.
Sister
My
Oz,
intelligence networks are strong, but not necessarily fast.
we have just in the same location as me, Sister Oz. Sister Oz, Brother Vane, Sister Tail, Abbot Tinnitus, Abbot Pagan,
Well,
Brother Enharkin,
mhm.
Sister Ascura, and Brother
Ugh.
Umbra.
He's rather nice. You know, I always thought that he might have a little thing for you. Is he still?
He had a
holding
thing for
torch
you.
with me?
No, he had a thing for you.
For me?
We
No.
talked about it.
No, we talked about it.
No,
I told
dear.
you.
I think you're misremembering. No. If there is one thing I'm good at, it's knowing when someone has a thing for me, and I don't see it.
Why would he have a thing for me? You were
'Cause
right
you're
there.
Cute.
But you were right there.
But you're approachable. That's not a bad
Full
thing.
scoff.
That's not a bad thing. Being the sister who's approachable and also cute is Great! Some people like that. Some people prefer that.
I'm not having this conversation. Are you not at all disturbed? They think that someone from Pagan's camp might have tried to hurt us, kill her, but I'm not really
Ooh,
making.
that sounds excellent.
That's inappropriate, Lucy.
Well, dear, both of them are sort of against me. Tried to kill me each, at least once. I
Dennis has
don't
tried to kill
mind.
you?
Well, I mean, he sent someone to try to kill a, new necromantic leader. He did it through some intermediaries. It was, sloppy, but impressive for him, I guess. I don't know, maybe some old contacts from his time over here. Yes, yes, that person doesn't exist anymore. Anyway, um, I can find a little joy in, my enemies having a spat with each other, and it certainly takes the pressure off of me if they're going to be here for my talk in this event.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'll see you in, what, an hour and a half? But
Oh,
I
no, no,
don't.
no! You need to come over early so we can spend some time together. I can introduce you to the kids. We can have a real, shindig and catch up.
I was woken up at 5:10 in the morning because Tinnitus refused to have someone, namely and Harkin, heal, and instead had Tail drive across town to fetch me. So I was the one doing the healing magic. And now they are having me investigate and interrogate everyone here. I don't know why, but I am considered the prime person that they trust to be a neutral party to figure this out. So I may not be able to do that.
Well, I guess that's just the curse of competence, dear. And when did you learn healing magic? I don't remember that. I remember you having an interest in it, but never really devoting yourself to it.
There was not really much reason to at the temple, but people got hurt and I had to do something about it, so I learned.
Well, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Following in my footsteps, like always.
Oh, Ellie can't. Oh, good. Cal is gonna be like, I will get there as soon as I can. I have the other investigators who are not. Okay, well, one of them's an animal, but for the most part, not animals. Also helping, and I will try to be here. Try to be there as soon as I can. And if I'm late, well, blame Tinnitus.
I always do. He's kept you away from me for years, and at this point, he pretty much gets the blame for everything. I've taught my oldest, Knox. He sometimes he sometimes breaks things. He's a little clumsy, a little kind of growing into his elbows, And whenever something breaks, I say, "Oh dear, did Tinnitus do that? Did Tinnitus jump out and knock it over?" And he goes,
Oh,
"Yes, Mama, yes. There was an
charming.
evil goblin Tinnitus that knocked it over." He doesn't know who that is, but
Yes.
he's heard me say it.
Wow. Endearing. I'm going to go. I'll see you
Okay,
soon.
Kelly,
All
see
right.
you soon. You know,
will.
bring your little friends and I suppose the other investigators too, if you want. And I will see you very soon.
Very
Click.
quietly. I love you.
What was that?
I love you.
Sorry, dear, I couldn't quite hear you. Can you say it a little louder?
I love you.
I got you to say it. Did other people over here?
That's 17 insight. Could I have also
do you guys
rolled stealth?
do you guys want to roll perception checks for that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not one.
Again.
Everything. Turn it up, Cal.
Damn. Denia loves May.
So sweet. 14.
14 is, I think, enough that you can hear Cal whispering something under her breath, but I don't think you can quite catch what, just that it's something fond. Kekino is staring at you with big ol' eyes, and you get a mental image drawing of a crayon drawing Cal hugging a crayon drawing Elise, and you hear, I heard. I'm joking. I love you too. See you soon.
Goodbye.
Click.
Beep. Cal goes. All right, let's get this done and over with.
I just want to point out that, as made obvious by that conversation, Elise knows you have coworkers and knows there are people or animals you are close to. Does not know they are the same.
Next to Oh no. Oh, big sister. Oh, big sister. Yeah, Cal's like, ugh, and she goes back, tags back into the conversation with Harkin.
Has that been entirely in French? So Fish is just standing there.
Probably.
Yeah.
Cool.
Fish is going, what excuse am I going to need to get those adult materials?
Do they have a bathroom in there? Can I say that I just need the bathroom?
I mean, you have seen that there is one inside.
Hmm.
Maybe I
Metal,
confiscated for its evidence.
Yeah, Metal, good luck with this guy. I gotta go piss.
Okay.
Bye, Dad. Good luck finding this. I mean, have a good piss.
The way Fish is going off on their own, it's usually about this time that something horrible happens.
We'll see.
So
Fucking
Yeah.
roll initiative. All of the Necros try to kill Fish.
It's like, okay, in films and stuff, you don't ever see a bathroom break unless it's important to the plot.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's one of those.
Oh,
Camera
no.
starts following Fish, and you go, "Oh no!"
There's
It
a
turns to
mutant
the
slug.
bathroom shot from Midsommar.
And Harkin seems to be weighing is something in his mind, and then decides to share it with Cal. And he does purposefully kind of like step away from Metal for just a moment, and he says in French, have you ever wondered how the most influential abbot on this continent is able to just move to another country in order to found new temples?
certainly made me curious. And I was
I've
very
never-
surprised to find that Pagan may be an abbot in name only at this point.
What do you mean by that?
She has, so the reports go, burned a lot of bridges with her necromancers playing her little games, and a young mage that she was grooming for a leadership role has usurped her in some way. They are functionally running the sanctuary at the temple in her absence, and she now knows that there will be no help if she can perhaps create a new and influential Canadian temple or Canadian Association of Temples with new blood may give her enough of a footing to push back, reclaim her own influence in her temple and the temples that owe fealty to hers. But if not, if she fails in her mission, if you fail in your mission, perhaps we will not have an abbot pagan for much longer.
What would her new title be then?
Well, I'm sure she would go back to being a cleric pagan. Perhaps answering to this replacement she so helpfully matured.
Do you know anything about the person who is currently in that position?
Nothing concrete. My focus has been Pagan and her efforts here, but I've heard interesting rumors.
Do you know their name?
I do not, which is the most interesting of all, I think.
Yes, that is bizarre. Bizarre indeed. No one you know has ever met this necromancer?
No one that has been in touch recently. I will say I am also a bit isolated up here in the north.
Yes. Kel's gonna like scribble down a note and she's going to be like, I feel like I'm. Obviously, there is more going on. And I feel like I'm starting to reach the end of what people are willing to tell me. And Harkin, off the record, do you believe that cleric? Oh gosh, I just had her name. I was being so good with it.
Beliala?
Beliala, thank you. Cleric Beliala harmed Sister Ross?
I do not believe she would have done so without orders from Abbot Pagan.
Neither do
And
I.
I do not think that Abbot Pagan gave those orders, because I do not see an immediate benefit to her. But Pagan's
No.
ability has always been political moves that are hard to predict. And I will
Necessarily.
remind you that desperate people tend to make messy choices.
Well, do you think would you think the possibility of a intruder theory holds any merit? Doesn't seem the security is that strong on
It seems
Chapel.
like the only option that makes sense to me, but it of course raises the question of why.
Can I roll insight?
Yes.
That's a dirty 20. Basically, does he genuinely also think the intruder theory makes the most sense?
I think he's working through it at the same time you are like talking it out loud, and he does think that like I think you get the sense that he does think that like on the whole it's more likely to be like someone not from either temple, or even it's someone like okay, maybe Beliala didn't do it, but maybe Pagan has someone else unknown
Who
to
functions
them
like
in the
Beliala.
area
Yeah.
who took care of it, or maybe Tinnitus has the same, has an extra person who attacked Oss to create an issue. The big thing he just stumbles on is like, why would people do that? Why here? Why now? What's the benefit? And it's not like, oh, this is a shocking move. It's like, I don't have enough information to kind of put together the motivations yet. But you also get through all of this pride. Yes, in Cal, because as your former teacher, he has enjoyed meeting you more as an equal than a student, and has been impressed with his continual feeding you bits of information and then watching you spin them into theories. Something that you can tell that he is doing on purpose. He is never giving you the whole of the information he knows or thinks. He is giving you very specific information, sometimes that benefits you, but potentially, may benefit him in a way that you can't see. And he's enjoying you putting together the pieces.
Yeah, Gail's gonna be a little heartwarmed by that. Not sure. I think he would probably be able to clock it from her posture, just because he, knew her since she was tiny and even worse at masking. She's gonna say, "Are you attending the gathering this morning?"
I am, as I expect all of us will. Although perhaps someone will need to stay with Cleric Oss.
That is my question as well. And if we put our intruder theory, it's correct, having an empty building could end up being problematic. But I do not want to pose something to either Abbott. I don't believe either of them would really want to hear that as a suggestion, whether or not it is true.
I think as this conversation is happening, Fish goes in to piss and sees that Pagan and Askira are both kind of like around, kind of like ready for a fight, not necessarily expecting one, but kind of like ready to be jumped. And as this conversation is happening, Tinnitus and the others come out of the chapel and start heading over to the office. I think it's perhaps likely that your former teacher sees this and, sensing kind of imminent trouble, immediately breaks off the conversation to go walk over, and it's up to you whether you also go over.
Cal, I think Cal is gonna take this moment to just like exhale a bunch of air, just do like a, and just kind of look at Metal and give her like a little pat on the shoulder, like, this fucking sucks. Are we done yet? But she doesn't say anything. Just the grumpy exhale, pat.
I think Metal will turn to Cal and be like,
Give Kekano to her.
oh yeah, she can do that, and also be like, I got Kekano in the pocket here. Also, are you cold? Do you want this jacket? I'm kind of passing it around.
Look, I know what Mooney, want to say. Cal's like, I have a robe.
Okay.
Ah,
I'll give
one
it back
day.
to you when they come
One
back.
day.
As you walk over,
She does
you
take
see,
Kekano, though.
yeah.
Yeah.
As you walk over, you see these two groups kind of squaring up, and
Sharks versus Jets.
kind of, and
Sorry.
Tinnitus speaks first and says, Abbot Pagan, any disagreements we may have can wait until after we have dealt with the heretic necromancer. Our dispute is not finished, but it will be put on hold. We must go and prepare for this event. And then Harkin kind of clears his throat and says, I think we have seen that this facility is not necessarily the most secure, and will be less so with many of us leaving. Perhaps we will adjourn to the hotels and secure those, as well as the poor dear Sister Os. Both Pagan and Tinnitus give a very careful nod, kind of like making sure they're not about to agree before the other agrees. So they both kind of awkwardly kind of agree at the same time. And yeah, it seems like kind of hostilities are on hold. They're going to set up a kind of a secure base in the hospital or in the hotel where they can control kind of entrances and exits, and get ready for Elise's event. And Harkin found a way to kind of slip that idea in, and diffuse the situation without making it seem like Cal's idea or something that was pre-planned with Tinnitus or something like that. Yeah, that is. Everybody is going to gather their stuff and start adjourning. Tail asks Cal if she can come with her back to the sanctuary to retrieve her car via teleporter.
Yes, and
And-
Cal was like, I was about to ask you if you wanted to join me.
In a way that's like, we have to have a conversation.
Fish real quick.
I've been putting it off.
Fish real quick smacks Cal on the arm and goes, "Hey, how's Meg?"
She's talked about Center a lot.
Yeah. I bet.
Fish's tucking photos away into a pocket. So yeah, how's May?
Metal's still wearing the jacket, and they're like, doop, doop, doop.
Go into the Kekano pocket. Hey, buddy, look after these, but don't look at them. Okay.
This probably won't work, but they'd still try it. Fold, arcane lock. Still opens shit.
Yeah. Yep.
Inappropriate.
Inappropriate. Using your poor boy as an accomplice. Yes. Do you want to do you want to do that scene with Cal and Tail, or do we just want to jump forward to getting ready for the event and meeting Elise?
I was thinking that Cal teleports everybody, and then is like, Tail, I need your help picking out an outfit. You two please dress nice. I need to get Jamal as well. She's gonna be like, hey, I think she'll probably ask. Oh, she wants to ask him herself, so she'll probably be like, I'm gonna ask, just like let them know, being like, I'm gonna ask Jamal to come as well, but being like, please get ready, please dress nice. Thank you.
And Tail just says, "Of course, I'll help you pick out an outfit," and comes with you.
I was like, fuck me then.
I
did want to say, I wanted Metal to do Cal's nails the previous night. Did she do French tip or black, just like black polish?
Oh.
You know, classy.
Yeah, I mean, black
Maybe
polish.
Maybe like a white undercoat and then a black crackle.
No,
Ooh.
that's
A
not
little
classy.
design on the ring finger. Yeah. Black polish
Anyways,
is
you don't have to tell it
fun.
right now. Just have a think on the manicure.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about the politics of nail polish to weigh in on this.
Look, I have a lot of thoughts on modern Cal nail polish. When we're talking about the 50s, we're very limited.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's fair. Before Elise appears, I am going to go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
Don't do anything.
absolutely. You want us to wait or...
Just wait. Hold on.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say the tail fade.
Don't want to miss a moment.
Yes.
But yeah,
Drama.
while we're paused, you know, May and Cal love each other. Cal said so.
Yeah. Yeah. I love just picking the stupidest fucking cover up. It really brings me joy. Being like, sometimes Cal's a very clever liar, and sometimes she's a fucking idiot. And sets up things that are going to cause big problems.
There is this kind of thing of like necromancers are like, oh, insinuation, this, but actually that, and then it's like, hey Cal, who you talking to? And it's like, fuck, you weren't supposed to just like ask me. May.
Yep.
You had two options.
I'm talking to Sarah. Tell Sarah she's got a great ass. I will not do that. Sarah is listing every swear word she knows. It's a long list. That's why the call's taking so long.
Just imagining Fish doing the loud yelling thing, being like, hey, sugar tits, what up? And Lee's being like, your friend is interesting.
Tell me about them.
Aren't they cute?
This is the possessed person? And you said that they're not possessed anymore?
DILF material, yes or no?
And Fish's response to that is, already am.
Yeah. I would be like, it's complicated.
What's complicated about it? Fish is my dad, and also I am a part of his soul in a physical construct, so we are both two separate people and the same people. What's complicated about that?
Yeah, it's the easiest shit. Come on.
Exactly.
That is precisely my point. It's a lot easier to raise Gekino than a human child.
Mm-hmm. Glad I don't have to do that.
Okay, it's 9:30. God, we're really gonna cut like right as Elise is like, hello, and it's gonna be like, all right, bye.
Yeah, kind of.
I'll keep this brief. Okay. So Cal is going to take Hale to her room where there's obviously already a dress and shoes already laid out for no question. Clearly not actually debating any of this. This has been decided for like at least 3 or 4 days.
Tail doesn't seem surprised and just goes and quietly sits on your bed, looking like she's waiting for you to talk. And if you're kind of like taking a moment, she's like, "Dear, you've never asked my opinion on how you should dress, unless it is to confirm an opinion you've already formed."
Seemed the best excuse to get to speak to you in private. I'm not really sure how to approach this. I guess I will go with what seems. You know our fabric supplier?
I think she kind of narrows her eyes a little bit, and then Tail doesn't have a lot of magic, but she kind of like rests a hand on your bed, and you see a bunch of shadows like flick out from her hands too, and like slip under your door, slip into corners, just like clearly putting up some sort of like security barrier or something. And is just like, "Yes, I am familiar."
And I do I have to roll insight to be like, she gets exactly what I'm fucking saying?
No, she
Yeah.
she is like making it obvious for you. She is even like, we're secure, we can use names, but I understand not wanting to.
Yeah. Cal is gonna sit next to her on the bed and then yank off her veil and look at her in the face, and she goes, "She's there. She'll be there. Meeting us. It's her. She's
Yeah.
You
Yes,
knew?
that's about what I expected. It
Do you think he
a-
knows?"
I don't think anyone knows, but I think with certain information it is a logical series of assumptions. Dear, your sister, it, let us charitably say, disappeared while communing with a number of necromancer adjacent heretics, and suddenly there is an incredibly powerful heretical movement in the United States not long after her uh, disappearance, a organization that is greater than most heretical organizations we've faced in the last 700 years, and it is led by an attractive blonde woman. Caligulus, your sister is many things, but she
Yes.
certainly never thinks small.
Yeah.
I would have been more shocked to find out that this leader was, quite honestly, anyone else.
I think Cal does laugh a little tiny bit at that. And she's going to go, she has no regards for her safety. She seems to think this is all a fun game. Or my safety. I don't think Tinnitus will be too pleased with me if this is confirmed, and I can't fake that I had no idea.
Well, I had hoped that she had grown a bit in her time away, but perhaps that was a little aspirational of me. Dear, I cannot guarantee your safety,
Yeah.
but you know that I couldn't save your parents, and I've always looked after you. I will do whatever it takes to make sure that your safety is not in question, especially not from tinnitus.
Thank you. She'll put her hand over her hand. She goes, so stupid. She has kids. Did you know that?
She's a mother now?
She's
Oh.
3. The third one is Cal Jr. The second one was
Oh,
Elise Jr.
thanks. Oh, no. Oh,
She named
thanks.
the first one after her unfortunate boyfriend.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, they're all given names, so they'll be able to pick better ones, but saints.
Yes, the cult leader thing, not a surprise. The mother thing, that's a hard pill, I'll admit. Oof.
Nothing like dragging your family members with other members of your family.
Yeah.
Truly cathartic for Cal.
I
Well,
was going to say I hope it all works out, but Elise Jr.
Yeah. yeah. My husband is dead. I don't know why. He was immortal.
Well, I guess your sister had certain tastes, maybe?
Tail's not wearing a veil, so Tail does see her go, ugh.
Yeah, and they get very much matched by Tails' facial expression. Being just like I don't know Elise has a mortal fetish, but it wouldn't surprise me. And then you're both like, ugh, I don't want to think about
Gross. Yeah.
that.
I haven't even told the detectives. I haven't. It was hard even telling you, and I knew you probably knew.
Is that something you want to share with them?
I think they're going to find out.
Well, then I suppose it's up to you. You think, rip out the skeleton all at once, and allow Elise to reveal herself, or let them know.
No, I don't know.
People always. They're the first people I've ever met who had already known her first. She's just so much more than I am.
I'm not sure I would put that as more, but she's a lot. Elise is a lot. She's always been a little different, and you have too. Maybe in ways that you don't appreciate, maybe in ways that our temple didn't appreciate. But yes, I don't think she is more and you are lesser. I think she's big and bold and you aren't. And that means it's a little bit harder for idiots to ignore you. I made the same joke mentally, just so you know, as I was saying it.
That's what we were saying.
Thank you, but I don't know. They're very social people. She's so bright.
Sometimes she is blinding, dear. I guess a reason to tell them would be to make sure they're not too blinded.
I suppose. Should I tell the archivist too? I really don't want to.
You have some sort of relationship with this boy? He's your
No, I
friend?
didn't say that. He's my employee.
Okay, well, I mean, uh, you know, I have a number of procurers that work for me through the supply chain. I don't really ask about their family, and they don't ask about my.
Okay.
Not really a kind of an employer.
Yeah, all right, so I
employee
won't tell him. Thank you.
relationship.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's kind of interesting that you would consider it.
No, wait, I'm done.
Not
All
sure.
right.
Well, you know, maybe open the possibility.
No, it's fine. You're right. You're right. It would be weird. Nope.
Oh, my little bug. It seems like you're getting a bit anxious to see your sister. So let's get you dressed, and while we're in private, and she pats your hand and then brings it up and pinches your bare cheeks, and she says, "I prefer the you out of the veil."
Ah. Sorry, I'm just taking a moment.
While you're taking a moment, we can take melatonin because we were supposed to like 40 minutes ago. I gotta go to work tomorrow. Give me a moment. I'll get us drugs. Will
okay.
you collect yourself?
Yeah.
Look at Sylvie's darling ears.
Yeah, baby,
Yeah.
baby.
Um, okay.
I think it's been very entertaining watching you go through all stages of grief.
Yeah. I love her so much.
We just keep attending parties that are
Right.
full of drama, and I enjoy it.
Oh yeah, that's what it's all about, baby.
Yes.
All right. So in response to Tail, Cal's gonna probably pull away a little bit and be like,
I'm in mourning. I'll keep that up.
I think that excuse has long run dry unless you're mourning more for yourself than for her.
Cal just goes to pick up her dress and doesn't say anything.
What do I know? I'm just an old woman. Let's get you ready.
Does Tail do her hair, even though no one's gonna see it?
Yes. She
Yeah.
she pins it up in a nice little coil at the back of her head. It's not too tight, no headaches, but it looks really nice and would look really nice without a veil. Just saying, she doesn't say verbally.
All right. Yeah. I'm trying to think of how to streamline this. I guess she'll probably finish up with Tail and then having asked everyone, including Jamal, to meet her in the either the lobby or the office for a quick debrief before they go.
Okay. What does everyone show up wearing?
Yeah.
Pairing fit.
All
The
right,
fit
still
that
the
we
slick back
got last
hair?
time.
No, normal hair, tattoos out. It's just they were instructed to dress nice. So
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean you go and get the suit from Ghost Closet because you took it and, like, threw it back?
Well, you only took the jacket. That's true.
Metal.
Got your new pants?
No. It went that they dropped it off at Garth. Metal was there next. Jaw was like, "This is too good for you. Here you go, Metal. Give it to someone." And
Oh,
Metal was
that's
like,
right.
"Oh, I give
Oh,
it
I
to
thought-
Fish back."
Oh,
Yeah.
you only wore the jacket last time. That was it. Okay, got it. Got it. What was Metal wearing?
One of her new
I'm
dresses?
pretty sure. No. I'm pretty sure we did like a fancy black dress last time, right? We went to like
I
the
think
temple
so.
briefly, and we all
Yeah, I
dressed in
think so.
black. She's gonna
That
wear
sounds
that
right.
again, and
All right.
Yeah.
Outfit repeater. No.
yeah, I know
Same
it's
with
like,
Fish.
well, yeah. She didn't think to buy anything black yesterday, or yeah, it was like a lot was happening. She didn't make good choices. Okay.
Yeah. She didn't say
Okay.
there's kind of a hole where black should be in my wardrobe. Instead,
It was not purposeful.
she was like, I guess this fuchsia is in season.
I guess it's this blue dress that looks very similar to the one I'm currently wearing. Yeah, I'll get it. But yeah, so she's gonna wear that cool outfit, and her hair is gonna look cute, and I think she's gonna have a headband on.
Wow.
That's what you get.
Blair Waldorf who?
Yeah.
I'm glad you got that joke. I was like, I keep making jokes no one gets.
No, I know that one. That's
Okay.
Gossip Girl.
Let's go piss girl.
Yeah.
Are we meeting in the office or the lobby, we think?
Well, we were doing office, right?
All right.
Yeah.
For
If
privacy.
you want to do a debrief, sure. Jamal shows up in what is his normal clothes, like 1 degree nicer, just because he kind of dresses nice all the time.
Is he hot?
No, Metal also roll for Is He Hot because she's looking on Cal's behalf.
Cal won't do this for herself.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Gonna roll. It's gonna I'm not sure what it'll be in. Oh no.
Oh no, what?
It's not as good as I wanted. It's 13. I hope that doesn't decrease his hotness.
That one.
Oh my god! That is incredible.
You are just blind.
Because she's like, I don't know. Damn, that's crazy.
God.
Jamal shows up. He is wearing a cable knit sweater that is
Cute.
with a black and very dark gray pattern. It does have some patches on the elbows, but it's clearly like the most necromancer appropriate outerwear he had. Has upgraded into some proper slacks, which are also black, and is wearing his shined shoes rather than his beaten and scuffed loafers. And he also has, in the bold fashion choice that that Jamal would be likely to make to impress Cal. He also has a black flat cap that he is wearing for the first time you've ever seen him.
Wow. Does it
So-
work?
It does, weirdly enough. It's a
Okay.
very
All right.
it's a very earnest look, you know?
All right.
It's not like it's not it's not like it's not like what you would traditionally associate with someone being like hot, cutting a rug, but it's like
Yeah.
it works for him, and it seems
Yeah.
genuine in a way, and he's clearly kind of shy about making such a bold fashion choice, and is maybe a little cuter because of it. Metal with a 13 is like, I'm not sure about hot, but he's pretty cute. I think Isle with a 1 is like, ooh, well, I mean, good
Isle.
thing that,
Isle?
uh,
Isle?
yeah, sorry,
I
fish.
just put her face
Whoa.
through the window.
Whoa.
I have to
Yes.
picture Cal's dude looks cute.
Yes.
I can't see what's going on.
No, it's that John Cena gif. She just like breaks down the wall and then presses her face up against the crack. Yes, fish with a nat 1 sees this guy in his fucking dorky ass hat and goes, God, good thing Cal's too good for him. Or maybe they deserve each other. I don't know. I just know that maybe like on a deserted island, no one else for years. Nah.
I drew Cal's outfit, but I will also describe it for our listeners. Raph.
Hey, you know what? Shout out to Raph.
We love you. Even
Hi,
if it's just
Raphael.
ink clipping. Even if it's ink just clipping this part.
Yeah.
We love you. So Cal is wearing very, very dark gray, both of her veil and dress. She's not currently wearing a robe, which would be the first time Jamal has seen her not wearing a robe. She has a couple that she has on the table. And she's got so she's wearing a dress and then like an undershirt to the dress, which is like a semi-transparent dark gray that kind of gives just the like slightest indication of her like skin and collarbones and stuff like that. That goes down to her hands, and she is not wearing gloves. She's wearing rings and her cute manicure, whatever it may be. And then a pleated bodice, slight cap sleeves, and a gathered skirt. It is, you know, a lot more kind of human and open than I think you've seen. A lot less guarded. When she puts the robe on, that's going to largely go away, except for the fact her hands will still be visible. But it's just softness.
Jamal rolled low on his deception. So with your 13 insight, Metal also sees Jamal sees Cal's collarbones and upper arms for the first time, and he's having a religious experience.
Okay.
Did we invite
That'll
Entail
like-
into the war room?
Noted. I'll be telling her later.
Fish goes, Danielle, elbows? I mean, it's 1953, and I believe women should be able to wear what they want, but bold for you.
I'll be wearing a robe for most of it.
Jamal takes this byplay, especially Cal's response, and looks like he's going to punch Fish.
Fish looks at Jamal and winks at him.
He blushes.
Metal's like, Caligulus, you look so beautiful. I love this outfit.
Thank you. You look nice as well. You all do. Thank you for dressing up.
Party time.
Kekano's got his bow tie on, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you also want him in a little hat?
Little hat.
Does he want a hat? Do you want a hat?
I want fashion items. I want a statement piece, you know? Bow
I do
tie
not
is
have a
really
tiny
good.
robe.
Give him a little purse.
I was thinking
I
of
can
a
make
tiny
one.
robe.
If I had time, I would have made you one.
Ah, darn it. Next time.
Next
Yeah.
time. Next
Just
time.
today, just bow tie. Next time, tiny robe.
Mm-hmm. That'd be
She'll
good.
put her at that. She's gonna put her hand on the robes and be like,
If you still wanted to wear one or give Sarah one, I brought extras, so pick whichever one speaks to you.
"They all look fucking identical."
Yeah.
Clearly, she's like 3 very different robe choices here. They all look identical.
Yeah. She could point out to like very specific nuances in cut that are the only perceivable difference.
Fish will grab a robe for Sarah and, one for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cal will put on the remaining one. Goodbye, elbows.
You see Jamal's heart break a little bit.
I don't know how much Cal is. I think Cal is clocking this and just being like, please wrap that shit up before my sister or godmother see you. Thank you.
Speaking of, you all rejoin Tail and uh, uh, do you want to take the car to the city, or do you want to just kind of cut time and go with Kessel, and then Tail just kind of like drives back to the necromancers and pick him up?
Fuck them. She can teleport with us.
She's got to take the car. That's like the main
The
excuse
entire
for her
point.
heading back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Okay.
guess.
Kessel is waiting there. He is not dressed nice because nobody asked him to
Yeah.
or expected him to.
He's
So
not staying.
he seems a little confused and concerned when he sees you all wearing black and looking very nice. But he teleports you to the event where you see a number of people kind of walking back and forth. A lot of kind of movement and motion as men and women, mostly young, kind of go in and out of this event space. You manage to flag one down. They're wearing like kind of religious adjacent robes that are clearly not necromancers because the primary color is white. So you're like, okay, definitely definitely not normal necros. Maybe we can ask them. And you get directions to the part of the hotel that Elise is staying in. As the
Fish
sound
picks up Sarah.
as the sounds of the city fade behind you, Sarah is just like with you one moment. Like you're just all walking in a group, and then Fish makes a joke, and Sarah laughs, and you all realize Sarah is now standing there with you. Fish tosses her a robe that she whips on as if she was expecting it, as if it was rehearsed, and you head inside. There are a few sort of gatekeepers here, some functionaries who kind of block your progress before you are then waved through. It seems like Elise has given explicit instructions that you be allowed in. And when you finally reach the last barrier, you see a somewhat doughy, a little bit balding, kind of middle-aged man, And as soon as he speaks, you recognize Mr. Denzel, who
Fuck this guy.
is her personal assistant. And he opens the door for you guys and bows you in. You are now in a pretty much empty room with just a table and a single chair that a woman is sitting in, rising.
I think right
to
at like
greet you.
around this point, before when they got started with Denethel, I think Cal, in a show of grace and perfect understanding of social situations, asked Sarah,
Would you mind waiting outside? Don't get in trouble, but take a lay of the land if you need to.
Don't tell me what to do, but also, yeah.
alright. And then when she leaves, Cal turns to her friends and goes,
We were requested for an audience with Mrs. Elise Shepherd.
and then she walks through the door!
As you enter, you see this sort of stately woman rising to greet you, and you're realizing that she's actually not, particularly tall, but her presence makes her seem larger. She is veiled, but not in the way Cal is. It's a white kind of lace veil that obscures just to kind of like the nose and then drapes down into some long tails. So it just kind of covers the eyes and the area around the eyes. And behind it, flowing out, you can see some wavy, kind of curly blonde hair cut cut above the shoulder, very cute, short, and kind of modern for the time. She is wearing a white dress that is hugging her figure. Cal, you can see that she has gained a little bit of weight since you last saw her. 3 pregnancies will do that. Um, but this dress is not low cut in any way. There's nothing not conservative about it, but it seems to accentuate curves of chest and hips and stomach and arms, and it's not sexy in any particular specific way, but it is extremely feminine, as if femininity is the point, as if it is something to celebrate. And over this white on white dress is a cloth of gold stole. And as she rises to meet you all, she seems to float forward a little bit, and you hear her speak. Welcome. I've been so interested in meeting the new detectives for the sanctuary, and I understand that you'll be joining us for this event. I just wanted to greet you personally and to, of course, recognize my fellow necromancer who helped arrange this. Welcome.
How diegetic is this music?
It is not actually happening, but this is
Aw.
absolutely her theme music. This is what is playing in her
This
head.
is like the
but
opening of Kingdom Hearts.
yes. No, very similar. You find
I was-
yourself on a stained glass pedestal, showing you making choices in your life.
Yeah, Cal's just a little heartless. Elise is a nobody. It makes sense, actually.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if this was diegetic, Cal would be like, okay, fucking cut the music.
There's a false wall, and there's a children's choir behind it that are singing every time she does something impressive.
It would make
Um,
sense.
She kind of glides forward and she holds out a hand to each of you to kiss.
Oh, is Jamal? Did Jamal also exit of this? Was she talking to Sarah and Jamal was like, that must also apply to me. Goodbye!
No, Jamal comes in.
Oh, okay. You said each of you. Does she have 3 hands?
No, she goes in turn.
Ah, I see.
Including to Cal. She doesn't treat
Mhm.
Cal kind of any different publicly. What do you guys
Who's
think?
offered first?
Probably Fish.
Fish kisses her hand and is kind of not even very much drinking her in.
She gives a little giggle that would be like, oh, self-conscious, except you know it's not. It's a little like, thank you for appreciating what I put a lot of hard work into. Um,
Okay.
um, then turns and offers her hand to Cal. Gives
She
her
takes it, subtly pinches it to be like, fucking cut it out.
She takes the nail of her ring finger and like digs it into your wrist to try to get you to let go. There's just this silent sisterly power struggle.
Cal drops it, but there's the veil eye contact. Like, you know what you fucking did. Stop it.
um, Elise very subtly shifts a ring to a different finger to like hide the marks from Cal like squeezing the shit out of her, and then offers her hand to Metal.
I think Metal's just gonna like do a polite like shake.
Hmm.
Not doing all that. But she does have manners, so it's like a little handshake.
She then offers it to Jamal. She doesn't seem to mind that you didn't kiss her hand. Jamal takes it and shakes it a little, and then looks at you guys, and then bows and kisses it because he doesn't know what the appropriate social response in the situation is, and he got 3 very different examples, and he's going for, I guess, the most extreme in the hopes that it's right.
Cal doesn't say it, but she's like, God, it's her fucking dream.
She also gives a little smile to Jamal, and as she walks back to her chair, she whispers to Cal under her breath, "He's kind of cute. Is he taken?"
Nothing. Dead silence.
Mhm. Welcome, everyone. I am very glad to receive such honored guests here, and I hope that you will attend our talk and learn a little bit more about our beliefs. Maybe we'll make followers out of you yet. And if not, well, enjoy our company, our refreshments, our time, and our love. And now, if you'll excuse me, I would like a private moment to speak with my sister necromancer about matters of faith.
Okay.
All yours.
Thank-
Jamal also leaves, kind of awkwardly, kind of like,
Mhm.
"You want me to stay? No, okay, I'll go.
Yeah.
You don't
I think
need the
Metal.
notes or anything. That's not this kind of situation. Okay."
I think Metal just makes like eye to veil contact with
Yeah, Cal
Collision.
is
Just
so
like,
tense.
and she's like,
You can see Cal like vibrating. She's holding herself so stiff.
Yes.
she does like a, you good?
Takes like a full minute to understand that she's trying to communicate before like the creakiest nod.
Like, okay. And then she backs out of the room.
Fish says aside to Metal, you remember, like, literally yesterday when I asked if this woman was a sister?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
Sorry, what are you talking about?
Oh, nothing,
Huh?
ma'am. I'm so
What?
sorry. Your name again
We'll be
was?
outside.
No, that's Jamal being like, what? What are you talking about?
Shut up, track date. We're not talking to you.
She's who?
Sister, your sister. You know, necromancers call each other brother and sister. It's not a relation thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
way to
yeah.
assume.
Right.
Yeah.
And as your friends leave, close the door, you've now watched them step out. You're facing the door back to Elise. And so the warning you get is sound. As in her stompy little high heels, you hear running at you. Do you try to turn around before she reaches you?
Yeah, no, she turns around and she hugs her back.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh god, I'm gonna get glumped at an anime convention in 2007. Not great. Gonna get tackled to the ground. That's a 4.
Okay. One thing you do notice about Elise is she has clearly put on a little bit of muscle in the time that you haven't seen her. It's not a lot, but for a necromancer who lived indoors for her entire life, it's something, which is, you know, kind of surprising. Um and she grabs you and she sweeps you up. She picks you up off the ground and she goes, Callie! And she spins you around, and everybody just hears like a weird tea kettle noise outside. And
Well,
then
I
she
was
just
gonna,
goes,
I was gonna ask to roll actually.
yeah, no, you can roll perception to
Get
try to
that
get
nat
more than
20.
that.
Try and get not a 1.
Listen, I can't do 3 in a row. It wasn't in a row, but in a,
Yeah.
in one. 11.
11. All right. You hear its words. You definitely hear it's not Cal's voice, and I think you uh understand it's a positive emotion. I don't think you can necessarily make out words, but it's kind of like, oh, we left, and then someone started screaming in happiness. So I think
Well,
case closed.
yeah, and since Kekano is so, in tune to emotions, Kekano's like, they're really happy in there. And Fish is like, yeah, I fucking got it. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah. It's because of a secret person.
hmm
I can't say anything, but it's.
And you don't have to. You don't have to, pal.
Oh, that kind of makes it less fun.
And Elise swings you around and holds you so tight. She is crushing your ribs. It is
Yeah,
really
Cal starts
starting
going,
to hurt.
ow, 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 ow,
You
ow.
take 1 point of damage.
Oh, good, great.
When
Great for when we
not
roll
only
initiative in a couple days.
when she squeezes you, but also the fact that while she did roll higher than you, it was not much higher. So she unbalances and falls on you, slamming you into the ground, still hugging you and going, "I missed you, I missed you, I missed you, I missed you, I missed you."
At this point, I think once they fall to the ground, Cal is laughing, but she is like, please get off me.
Oh, that's my little wiggle worm.
Yeah, okay, that's enough. Okay, that's enough.
No, you like it.
I really don't.
Stop,
But she
stop.
is still laughing.
Stop, you're creasing the dress.
Get off the floor, dumbass. What she says would be the French equivalent. I don't think she actually says dumbass.
Merde. And yes, she helps you up, and she now just kind of like sweeps the veil up over her head and pushes yours out of the way, removes your underveil, and just gives you a big kiss on the forehead, just like a little peck, and then it gets weird and wet because you're still like laughing. She's just like,
Okay, stop.
I haven't gotten to tease you in 20 years.
Yeah, you have children for that now.
And I will get them to tease you too, don't you worry.
That's not what I meant. Definitely not what I meant.
They'll have Auntie Cal to bother. Ooh, speaking of which, I do need a babysitter.
What?
They just ran off the last one. So I'm thinking, you're available.
No, I'm not available. Did you not hear about the multiple jobs I'm holding?
Oh, well, yeah, I know, but just every once in a while, it's just
Elise.
it'd be nice to see you more often. That's not a
How
bad
am I
thing.
gonna get to
especially-
Nebraska?
Well, you know what? The job is open. If you want it, if you maybe have a little trouble finding work after your, detective thing, I would love to spend more time with you. That's all. That's all I meant.
I want to see you too, and I want to meet them. It's just, I can't. That's why I told you I can join you in a couple days. I have a life that I'll leave, but I need some time.
Well, I will give you time. Like I told you, I'm willing to wait a little bit longer. But are those the life? It kind of like flicking her eyes to the door, the people that just left.
Yeah, Kel's face crumples up a little bit and she nods.
It's Detective Fish, Detective Metalvaunt, and
Archivist Maltractate.
Oh. Was that the one in the sweater? Or
The
one with
tall
tail?
one.
Ooh. Oh, Kelly. I see that blush. I see that blush.
Stop it.
So cute.
They're just fully just like, you can't, you know what? If I put my hands as a veil, you can't look at me.
That sweater looks really soft. If you wanted to, just give him a nice squeeze, or I guess the other one's wearing. Is Fish also wearing a sweater under the jacket?
No.
Rip.
Well, my sweaters are soft. That's all I'm saying. It looks nice. High thread count, maybe a little warm if you want to borrow it or.
I'm not gonna be speaking to him again in a month. What are you not putting together?
Well, a lot can happen in a month. You can change your mind. It's okay. There's a
Change my
place
mind
for
to-
him. Place for him here. Always need good help. It's
How
okay.
many people
Let's
do
go
you intend
see
of
the
dragging out of
kid.
the sanctuary?
Let me go show you the children.
All right. Can I put the veil back on?
Oh, shit. Right. Yes. And she just kind of like flops yours down and then flops hers down because she completely forgot that she's supposed to be incognito and she's not at all taking it seriously. So she's like,
Yeah.
stealth. And we head out.
Is
You
everyone waiting outside the door like, well?
you all see uh Reverend Mother Elise Shepherd, Cal's sister, um walking arm in arm with Caligulus as
Cal's
they
trying to be
step out
so
into the
professional about it. Like, yes, I'm doing this because I'm a ambassador.
Mhm. While Elise is smiling.
Fish steps forward a bit and brings up Kekano and is like, "I'm so sorry, ma'am. I didn't introduce you to Kekano. He very wants to say hello. He very much wants to say hello."
I do. I want to say hello really bad. Hello. I know all about you because Cal thinks about you all the time and was telling me about a picture she has of you that I'm not supposed to talk about cuz it's hidden and
Where?
I'm not supposed to tell. And Cal loves you a lot and thinks about you all the time. And also, I'm Kekino. Hello. You smell nice. Kekino, you are so adorable. Let me pet you. Oh, yes.
Please feel
Oh,
free.
was this the one that was possessed?
In
The
a
seal.
way.
Oh, well, I'm glad.
Well, let's not talk, work right away. But that was me. Mm.
Oh. Okay. Wait, so
Cal like fully turns around. She's like, no, I don't like
Okay,
where
so
this is going.
the change in her voice, Fish immediately registers and is like, "Whatever, you're not that hot anyway." Doesn't say that, but like very much, whatever.
there is this moment of being like, wait a minute, and then as Cal starts running away, you could kind of see her piece together, like, this was the one Cal was very concerned for. And then I think as Cal runs away unintentionally in the direction of Elise's kids, while Elise laughs and welcomes you all to join them down the hall, I think Sarah shows up. She has someplace gotten a hot dog and super sloppy, lots of relish, and she comes around the corner eating it and goes, "Oh shit! Hey, Spooks, is this your sister? She kind of looks like you." And we will end the
What do you mean,
second
Patrick?
day.
What the fuck does that mean? How
Yeah,
does
no,
she
but
know?
actually,
No, I'm sorry. Oh shit, does Sarah have like powers to like fucking like Saracen where like she can see through things and stuff like that?
No, but she is someone who pays way more attention to body language than most people do.
Oh, I meant the like she looks like you comment. You mean by her like arms?
No, genuinely like body shape, a little bit of the chin that she's probably seen flashed when you were injured in the Wendigo fight. Kind of the way you walk a little bit, like a lot of subtle things that most people don't pay attention to, and Sarah does.
Okay.
Heck
One thing,
yeah.
Matt, did you have any tag you wanted to add on?
I think Metal is probably just watching, like, because she knows it's very important. Like, that's all. For the audio fans, she's just covering her mouth in an emotional manner.
Mhm.
She's doing a silent squee.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any tag for you, Ink, before we say goodnight to Craig?
Just that, really want to confirm that's like, oh, you're very attractive. Oh, you don't seem to immediately like me. Fuck you.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that oscillates back and forth based on what happens.
Yep.
God.
All right. Goodbye, Craig.